Tusikubali kutenganishwa na siasa, tujirushe kwa mashimo, miaka 5, miaka 10, tuishi tukiregret kama watu wa Mount Kenya.
I listened to one of us argue that this country is likely to be taken to peril, that we are likely to default in debt payment. That is irresponsible statement.
The body I know, you should have foreseen that. You are an expert. By the time you are giving that commitment, Honorable Badi, those are things that would have been on your fingertips.
Nasikia Sifuna anaongea na nguvu. Wakati unaongea mambo yangu Sifuna, ujue mimi ndio mwanzilishi wa ODM. So naenda polepole kidogo.
Mheshimiwa Rais, mimi ndio Sifuna.
I think William Ruto is actually unfit for the position of President of the Republic of Kenya.
Bring politics into the military. And for your information, hiyo Ruto must go, si kusema ati atolewe ofisi kinyume ya sheria. No. Watu is a clarion call in preparation for the general election. Ruto atatolewa kikatiba na uchaguzi wa 2027.
Watu walikuwa wamezoea kutugawanya, sisi hatugawanyiki, sisi tutakaa wote pamoja. Na tupatiane heshima. Tuna kama jamii, sisi ni neighbors, tujue vile tunaweza kuishi wote pamoja.
Kutoka vijijini, mijini hadi jijini. Hii ni Sound Kanti Talk Live.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for making time to join us. This is Sound Candid Talk, open forum political discussion show. The show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development on our political front. Well, Kenyans are out again and, of course, as usual, leading the way in circumstances that are out of the box. I would use that expression. And is this public outburst, especially against political leaders and the political elites? It appears the wedge between the ruling class and the ruled is widening with every passing day, and now what we are being treated to is continued protest, and this time is not on the streets, this time is everywhere and at every opportunity, online and otherwise. Now, I want to keenly look at what's going on in trying to get the heartbeat of the country. Where are we, and how do we navigate from where we are to where we ought to be? This seems to be a rising concern, and it appears that probably our political leadership is blind of the same, but the signals and the recent behavior or generally of the Kenyan people, especially when something happens to the ruling class or the political class, is telling a lot. And of course, it's not everything that is said what is not said is also a form of communication. But you noticed of late that if we have a politician lose a child or get involved in an accident or gets assassinated, instead of the country being plunged into mourning, we are having the opposite. It's plunged into celebrations and all manner of castigations and, as if whatever misfortune that befell the politician or that ruling class person was deserved, was, waited for, expected, being prayed for. It's so disturbing. And so I want to invite your input. What's going on with our country? Are we losing it, or we have indeed gotten to a place of no return in terms of ensuring that how we go about our handling our differences is kept within the framework of what is generally acceptable? And so I want to invite you to look at this, and we'll be also giving the historical background of the same. This is informed by what went down in Migori. We have different views on what went down, but got another video today that explained, or rather showed clearly what transpired. And so there are so many versions of the same, but I gave out, there's a video already I made during the day about the truth about the shoe in Migori. But just generally, we have had these altercations when Ruto was in Isiolo, when he was in Mount Kenya, partly when he was in the coast and all that. There is that public unrest and public outbursts against the president, the Kenya Kwanza administration, including the other political parties, or ODM otherwise. And so I want us to dive deep and begin to analyze, are we reading from the same script? Are we feeling the public as leaders? Are we serving the public? Because it appears that Kenyans are there to survive and even struggle to sustain an administration, other than the administration struggling to sustain and protect the people. Comparing Kenya with Burkina Faso, there is a lot that is left to be desired, and we'll be drawing that difference in the course of the conversation. So thank you very much for joining, and from wherever you are, please be an extension of what you're doing right here, right where you are. Share the link with somebody, get them to watch and be part of this. We want your input as well. Are we losing our country? Are we losing our humanity? Are we losing our empathy? Or what is it that is gone wrong with us? Of course, while that is going on, there is also security experts who are coming up and saying the president's security detail is wanting, and something serious needs to be done. That as it goes, the slain member of parliament of Kasipul, the postmortem came out today, and serious injuries sustained by, they are saying, 5 bullets, and then of course he lost his life. They're explaining the cause of death. Now, while that is going on, 4 of the suspects have been arraigned before the court and gotten orders for them to be detained for 30 days as the police finish the investigation and be able to proceed with the case. Now, while that is going on, 8 years later, justice seems to be served, or rather the people that participated into the 2017 protest, the police that visited their wrath on the people in Nyalenda and partly Kisumu. We know the popular name Baby Pendo. The case has now been narrowed down, and 4 police officers, senior, are facing charges on the same. Now, this seems to be a move in the right direction, but I still have got my fears looking at how we go about prosecuting cases that are involving police officers. Those of you that have been around, you remember the man who was shot in Kisumu still. Yes, it was Kisumu Kondele in 2008, 2007. And it was the police officer that shot him was caught on camera, shot the person. And then, of course, when the case went to be prosecuted, the revelations came out. They said the person was caught on camera, and the gun that was shot the person is not the one that the person who was caught on camera was carrying. Now, I don't want to lose it before time. Welcome on board as we start the conversation. Thank you so much for being part and parcel of Sound Candy Talk. From wherever you are, please share the link, invite more people to join. Let's dive deep into analyzing our politics as we make sense of our politics easing life for the masses. William Ruto continues with his Migori tour, and he stays off the shoe issue. And so it's interesting. What is this about this shoe that the president makes no comment, and the security, of course, details also keep off giving official communication on the same. But Kenyans can't let go, and now the whole world is talking about the shoe and what went down. So let's get the backdrop of this particular discussions, and then of course use this link to get in and be part of the conversation. I can see Esther Stoll. The rest amkeni basi. Samahani tumeanza kuchelewa, lakini mambo ndio hivyo. Our net is not favorable of late. We have to bembeleza it and wait for it to give way before we come on. But it's good that we are here. Let's get talking. Well, we start with that public outburst by, a different successive government. You will remember that the first president of Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta, had an altercation where he was, visited public wrath by somebody throwing a rotten egg at him. You remember the Kisumu massacre where a chair was thrown at him, and the security boys turned their guns on the public. We lost many lives in Kisumu. And so it is sad that we are joking with such matters when they bring back very terrible memories that would rather forget. But that Migori scenario raises a lot. We also remember President Moi was also, public wrath visited him in Kakamega. And, of course, Uhuru Park, when he came to hand over power to Kibaki. And so we seem to be becoming bolder and bolder with every passing day, but that boldness is leaving a lot to be desired. So we need to get down to seeing these things for what they are and being able to address them as they ought. So we start with that story of recapping this public outburst, and then, of course, looking at other stories. Thank you very much. Karibu kwa show. Tafadhali tumakinike katika kutekeleza wajibu wetu kama Wakenya wazalendo ambao wako tayari kuhakikisha kwamba nchi hii haitatokomea tukiwa hapa. Asanteni, karibu sana.
In Baghdad, Grace Nganga KTN.
In politics, public support can be loud, but so can be public dissent. In recent years, Kenya has witnessed a wave of dramatic public outbursts aimed at top leaders, from rotten eggs to flying shoes and even a public whipping. Last evening in Migori, President William Ruto became the latest high-profile target in a growing list of leaders who faced hostility in the most unexpected ways. But behind these confrontations lies a deeper truth of one of broken promises, another unheard grievances, and a desperate call for leadership that listens. Our reporter Finik Olwatch takes us through the incidents, the security lapses, and what they truly say about the state of our politics.
Only by our action they will know that we mean business.
It started with a rotten egg hurled at Kenya's founding president Jomo Kenyatta in the 1970s, a bold act in a dangerous era where dissent could cost you everything. Fast forward to 2025, a shoe flies towards President Ruto in Migori. Different decades, same symbolism, frustration launched at power. He wasn't the first. In 2014, then President Uhuru Kenyatta faced same fury in the same town. Migori now etched in memory as a hotspot of public dissent. And who can forget Raila Odinga in 2016? Whipped mid-speech by an elderly man in Kwale, a shocking act, painful both physically and politically. But what drives these acts?
The truth is, it is always a show of discontent, and everyone who is in power must remember that they have a duty to the people.
From shoes and stones to shouts and cheers, Kenyan leaders have faced it all. These aren't isolated incidents. They are a signal of a widening gap between citizens and those in power.
Truth is that Kenyans are tired, and they are demonstrating it through any means. They are demonstrating it through celebrating the murder of a member of parliament. They are celebrating anything. In fact, they even put the president in the coffin. They even showed many leaders in the coffin, meaning that Kenyans are tired. And I believe come 2027, they are going to talk loudly, and it will be a very great shock to the leading class.
The delay in security response raises tough questions. Are our leaders really safe? And more importantly, do Kenyans feel protected, respected, and represented?
But the worst of it all is the breach of protocol in the security setup of our VIP management, as we are just in the backdrop of the murder of a member of parliament in a very broad daylight, and now we are seeing a president being exposed to such a very dangerous position where a shoe can be thrown, and it hit the president. It didn't miss the target.
Behind every act of aggression lies a story of joblessness, failed promises, stalled services. Sometimes what looks like rebellion is actually a last-ditch plea to be acknowledged.
People go to election, they give you mandate directly via a vote, and you have a duty to them, and you must ensure that that duty is really done well, not that you exploit them through bad taxation, poor governance policies, and lack of proper implementation of necessary agenda that can let them move from point A to B.
In Kenya today, the message is clear. The people are speaking, sometimes through cheers, other times through confrontation. The challenge for our leaders is this: to hear beyond the applause and listen deeply to the anger, and then respond with humility, empathy, and real change.
And any noises we make are very legitimate, any shoes we throw are very justified, and any abuses we howl are to the extent that they have not done their work right, and they must do it right.
Finik Olwatch, KTN.
Now, President William Ruto has defended his move to bring opposition leaders.
Mambo ni kama hayo. Nashukuru kila mmoja. Karibuni tukamakinike katika uchambuzi wa leo. Mami, siku nyingi. Karibu lakini.
Asante Penat.
Nashukuru kiatu cha Migori kimekuvuta mpaka ukafika.
Yes, Penat, si Migori peke yake. Kuna mambo mengi yameendelea. Kuna ya hiyo ya Akata. Kuna vitu mingi yanaendelea nchi yetu. Kuna aspirants. Yani, like there are so many things. I I want to say this, Bernard. Tukiangalia wakati ya mayai ya Kenyatta, tukakuja ya Uhuru na leo ya Ruto. And member of parliament being killed, you know. So kuna mambo mingi yanaendelea katika nchi yetu, kuna uchochezi mingi. Ukienda ya Narok, hiyo ya Akata, where 5 people or 6 people were killed kwa sababu ya mambo ya shamba, and people have lived there since 1950s, 54, if we go by the history. And then somebody comes and say, hii shamba ni yangu, or they go to land state, do what they do. It's not right. Ukakuja mambo, kulikuwa na mkutano ya Migori, na kuna mkutano kwa Munyoro. There were 2 big functions. Ya ODM, kulingana na vile nilisikia Kilati Swanga, they signed an MOU for some particular 10 points. And she was right to say, we did not sign for association of our people. Atuku signed to Wawe. And that, Bernard, to me, today, so many members of parliament, so many people have died. The Saitotis, the Ochores, all of them. We never knew who killed them, what happened. We never even know the postmortem. But the way the Oma Bay residents and the chairman of ODM and everybody, now we know, the only thing we need to know, who sent those people, and even the policemen. And a lot of people wanasema pia member of parliament, it is up and downs. There were election coming, but haikutakikana mtu akufe. So sometimes, Bernard, you kill people, and it is as usual. They have lost a lot of people, but they say this time round, no. And the truth, we don't know even who shoot people in Narok. They have not said the people, Bernard. Leo watu wanasikwa. But wanasema tunataka uchunguzi, wanasema wametransfer. But the seriousness of Oma Bay, Bernard, and the darlings between now the president and people of Nyanza. So, okay, tunasema pole kwa mwenda sake, but people need the truth. Story ya iyo kiatu, Bernard, it has happened in many ways. Somebody was trying to kujaribu kufanya president kukasirika, but vile ameikinoa, and all leaders wameikinoa, I don't know where is the person. I hope waliwacha kama ni kijana, I thought they are youth anyway, si wa mama, si wasichana. So I hope walimwachilia. Ni kama wale watu tunaona ndege imeshuka, helicopter imeshuka, wakati ana take off, mtu mmoja anasema anataka ku take the right. Unakuta mtu ananginginia kwa helicopter. Na wakati hata helicopter inajaribu kumsukisha chini, they don't come down alive. Wanakuja kama wamekuwa broken ama kitu imefanyika. So for me, the negative haiwezi kutusaidia, but watu ya Nyanza wamefumilia. Rais ameendelesha safari zake. amefanya yale amefanya, tunaona hiyo vitu yao wanafanya, that is okay, but the governor of Migori, Junet Mohammed, all those people, the other side tunaona Reverend Lala amekuja, nimekuwa a little bit. Sometimes we have our downs, sometimes we have some disappointments, you know. So, but because of our country, Kenya, we love the country, we love our people, we continue teaching our people. Thank you, Reverend Lala, for standing up with every day. Mambo ya jana niliona kwa Wamonyoro, I see my party leader, Martha Karua, leading the delegation, seeing Matiang'i, seeing the Kalonzo face and other people. For me, nikikombea Azimio and yesterday kwa Munyoro, it was a feel like something. A new person called Matiang'i. Everybody knows the history. I like what somebody say, is a killer like other killers. So I was happy. Yeye si mweupe kama pamba. And between all those people, Kalonzo came there with all his people, members of parliament. Matiang'i also amejaribu one time, ametembea, amekuja na some people. It is too early for those things. Wamunyoro also, hawezi sema then, okay, because Matiang'i amesimama na chama ya Uhuru, then that's the only party they will have. He's also launching his party. He wants to be the king. Martha Karua has his own party, Kalonzo has his, and so many people. And I like analysis that some people say Kalonzo at night is with Ruto, during the day is with these people. If you are not recognized Kalonzo as a senior politician, vice president, that he was, and a Peter Katikati, he will also Peter Katikati. Put Matiang'i and all the Kambas with Kalonzo will Peter Katikati and go somewhere else. But that is not what I want to say. What are they offering Kenyans? And I like Ruto must go. Nikakuwa remembered ya kwamba kumbe this must go was only during Moi time. And now Ruto Moi time, Ruto must go. We never had must go from Uhuru. We never had must go from Kibaki. So there is some sweet names that must go is good and available. And I hope even if it is Watangula or Mudavadi, I hope the must go there too. But if it is must go, it's only between the Moi and Ruto, then well, must go is something easy because people need to say what they will do to Kenyans. How about him? He must know. Ukisema must go and I don't go, what will happen?
For me, let's say Mimi. That's an no. Let's do this. Let's do this. You have opened a lot of.
Yeah, I'm also ready to leave. You know, nowadays, Penat, because it's. I think our opinion is not. It doesn't matter sometimes. I remember I was here one time when we were talking, and I was mute off. Like, okay, your time is over. You can leave. So still.
What I'm saying is, you know, when we are debating, we have those people watching, and those people watching should follow what we are saying. So when, like we talked about Migori, We went to the land. We've come back to Wamunyoro and all that. It's all but umeweka muhtasari. So tunapasa sasa ku break your story moja moja ili wale watu wanafuata waelewe. And then pia tusikie opinion ya Lala on each of that issue. So tukiendelea hivyo tutaenda na tupoteze sasa ile topic tulikuwa tunazungumza kwa sababu imeenda ikakuwa sasa tukapata sasa Wamunyoro imeshika sana, so tukasahau hii ingine. So that's why I want us to govern the conversation so that we build up. Yule mtu anafuata aelewe tumetoka huko tukienda huko. Tusiende sehemu yote tuache tena watu wa Kenya tena wamechanganyikiwa. Hao watu wanasema nini? That is my meaning. And then of course the reason why we are all here is because we have different views, we have different way of looking at things. And at the end of the day, there is your opinion, there's my opinion, there's Lala's opinion, but there is the right thing that needs to be done. So having said everything, we should bring back the people into that proper understanding. Hii kifanyika, hii ndio inapaswa kufanyika ili inji isonge mbele. Like what we are witnessing in Burkina Faso. The whole world has gotten the attention there. The things that have not taken place for over 60 years have taken place within 2 years, and the country is now self-sufficient. Why is that? Why can't that happen in Kenya? Is it because of this one must go, this one must not go? Or what is it that is in Burkina Faso that is not in Kenya? That's, to me, ni more concern for me than just, having Matiang'i as president or having Ruto as president or having Kalonzo as president. Hiyo president tumebadilisha viti mara ngapi sasa? 5. And then bado tuko pale. Majority of the young people hawana job. Industries zimefunga. Healthcare ndio hiyo. Masomo ndio hayo. So to me, we should, as we do the politics, we should be able to also focus to solve these issues. And then solving those issues begins by Kenyans understanding where we're coming from and where we're going. So I appreciate your input and your concern, and each one of us must be concerned, because the more we keep quiet, the more we don't say much in terms of correcting what is wrong, the worse things get. And so we must push towards that direction. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so you give to Lala, or you want me to finish what I was saying?
Yeah, you can conclude what you're saying, then Lala comes in. It looks like Koko office, so he will.
Okay, so yes, Bernard, because what I say, it was all this week, and because I was not there, like Wamunyoro was yesterday, Mikori throwing of Kiato, I thought it was yesterday or today. I think it was yesterday. And the Narok thing also was the funeral today for those people who were killed. And today was the postmortem of the member of parliament. So I think those things happened just during this week. Today is Monday, and it happened between Thursday or Wednesday and wherever. But anyway, as you have said, what went wrong? Kenyans. I think I hear you saying, are we doing revenge? Is somebody trying to do revenge or not? Because we still have 2 years to election penalty. So when is this person is going to work? Is serikali itafanya kazi when? Yes, a lot of youth are home. There is no jobs. But there is must go. So, well, akona chance ya kufanya kazi hata kama ni moja, ama hata kama ni false promises, do we have to count? 2027 we tell him, you want all this country, ulisema utafanya. But I'm happy, anajua Kenyans will count. Yale kitu umefanya kama MCA, ile umefanya kama MP, women rep, governor, and the president. If you don't deliver, hata kama utaipa kura, I thought tunaweza ipa kura kama umetiliva 60%, and Kenyan is between 40% and 30%. That is where you can hata ulilia watu useme jameni I did this. But Penat, if you don't have time, ama kama vile nimeona leo Mikori Oriri, I see the market, I see the buildings, I see them doing observation. And in some other places, I don't know whether it is only Nyanza that I see amefanya kazi kidogo. Ama hii sehemu yote amekuwa akisurura amefanya. But anyway, we need time. And our people need to understand. Our children need jobs. But Burkina Faso, in 2 years, walikuja kama coup, but they have come, all of them, because that is army now. Na wameonyesha na amepata support of the people. Even though now, hawakosi wasaliti, kuna wale wanasikia raia and all Africa and the world wamefurahia kasi President ya Burkina Faso amefanya. But they are tuned us inside. Kuna wale wanataka status quo, including the African presidents. They don't want him kuonyesha amewashinda. So they feel bad, Penat. Yes, we want to reach there. But now tell me, why our presidents from other countries wawezi support that young person? That you have done a good job, that we have not done. Kwa sababu wale tumechakua ni perfect, and they want us to be down the same. My happiness is, vijana wetu, watu yetu wamesema, we cannot go Gaddafi way again. So problem is us and our leaders, Penat. So even Kenya now, problem is not the public. Problem is the leaders. You don't, kama umetolewa, you come out directly attacking. But you want, unataka watu wengi wakusaidie. Tumepigana mimi na wewe, Penat. Instead, I want all your brothers and sisters to fight you kwa sababu nilikosana na wewe. Lakini utaambia manduku sako what really happened. So, mtu moja anatakikana abebe sacrifice. Na huyo mtu moja unataka sasa kumwekelea kila kitu hili wewe ukue juu. So, are we tunatengeneza inchi ama tunaangusha Penat? If we waste time for 5 years, we are losing it. Hakuna makasi itafanyika. There is no development kwa sababu kama mahali na wanasema we don't want you to go. Tunataka ukae mpaka 2027 so that tukutoe kwa election. And we don't want him to do the job so that 2027 can at least say I've done something, even one. So where are we as politicians? Those who are supporting him and those who are not supporting him, and the country at large, the people. Where are we? Wewe unataka kurekebisha. You want our people kupata makazi. How will they get jobs? Inasemekana mkono moja haiui chawa. You have executive, you have judiciary, and you have parliament. Apart from that, you have other people. We are supposed to have opposition checking and balancing. We don't have opposition. We have little of majority and majority in parliament. That is what our constitution say. But still, as a Kenyan like you, Bernard, now, where are we? Are we in support of the government to do the job? Are we in support of those who say, no, we have to shout from morning to evening up to 5 years so that Kasongo can go, must go? So can we give him time to work and then he can go? If we don't want him, he will go. If he does something to the people, then the people will say, thank you.
It's okay. The interesting questions, Mami, and I understand you very well. Unajua kwa mama yangu alikuwa anapika akitumia kuni. So mojawapo ya majukumu yetu ilikuwa kupasua kuni ili chakula iive. So wakati umeambiwa kwenda kupasua kuni na ukatae kupasua kuni, basi hakutakuwa na mapishi na watu watakaa njaa. What I'm saying is, kuna yule mtu amepewa kazi na kuna yule anatafuta kazi. Okay? Wakati wewe umeambiwa uende kutafuta kuni ama kupasua kuni, alafu hukupasua kuni, hukutafuta kuni, nani atalaumiwa? Wale vijana walikuja wakakuita mkaenda kucheza ukasahau kupasua kuni, ama wewe uliambiwa kupasua kuni ukaamua kuacha kupasua kuni ukaenda kucheza? So hapa kuna mambo mbili. Kuna yule amepewa kazi, amepewa ofisi, amepewa majukumu. Akiwacha majukumu kwa sababu vijana wengine wamemuita kando waende kulumbana ama waende ku exchange na nini, makosa haiko kwa wale wamuinvite. Makosa haiko kwa huyu ameacha kazi yake, badala aifanye kazi ambayo amepewa na wale wamempa, yeye ameenda kujibishana na wale watu ambao hawana kazi, because mtu akishatolewa ofisi hana kazi, sio? So unafuatana na yeye kivipi? So hiyo pia inaleta tashwishi hapa na pale. Lakini tuseme hivyo.
So Bernard, ukisema hivyo, then ule mwenye kazi anaendelea kufanya kazi yake, anaendelea kutembea akifanya kazi zake.
That is what I'm saying. So tuache wale wanacheza wacheze na wale wanafanya kazi wafanye kazi, na kazi itaongea, kwa sababu kama kweli kuna kufanyika kazi, hiyo kazi hauhitaji hata kueleza. Kama unasema unapikia Wakenya, Wakenya wamekula wameshiba, hawata kusumbua. Si watoto wamekula wakashiba, kama mama kwa boma, nyumba umesafisha, watoto umeosha, umewapikia wamekula. Mzee akirudi hata wamelewa ama hajalewa, hata kuuliza maswali kwa nini kila kitu iko in order. Lakini akirudi akutana na sufuria kwa mlango, akutana watoto wanalia huko, wameparara tumbo nje, nini na nini, anakuuliza kwa hii boma unafanyanga nini? So let us keep everything within where it's supposed to be. But appreciate that, and of course siasa yetu tunapaswa sasa kuifix kwa hiyo maneno ya kazi. Okay? Let the work of the person speak for them, not their mouth, the work they are doing. Kama William Ruto ataamua kuzurura Kenya mzima akisema vile amefanya, lakini Wakenya hawaoni, hawafeel ile kazi amefanya, yeye ndio atakuwa wa kupoteza. Lakini akifanya kazi halisi ambayo itafaidi Wakenya na Wakenya wafurahie, hata kuwa na kazi ngumu ya kuambia wampatie another term. But kama anategemea to sweet talk Kenyan, hapo namwambia kuna kazi ngumu, kwa sababu Wakenya mahali wamefika na kile wanafanya ni kitu ambacho ni kama ile ndoa ambayo imekuwa na nini ndoa imekuwa na msukosuko mingi ambayo iko karibu kuvunjika. So ushikilie uhakikishe kwamba haipasuki. But all in all, it's interesting times in our country. Well, I want us to let Lala, he has just changed gears, aseme, alafu namuona Eli amekuja na jina lingine hapa. Naomba tegea papo hapa tafadhali, karibisha mtu kwa show na changia comments pia nataka kuziona hapo kwa TikTok ama kwa Facebook or wherever you are watching us from. Give your views. What do you think about the fury of Kenyans against the leaders? Ni mama amesema viongozi ndio shida, sio wa Kenya. Wewe unaonaje? Ni wa Kenya wana shida ama viongozi, na suluhu liko wapi? Thank you. Lala, how are you today?
I'm well, Bernard. It's good to see you, Mama. Vizuri kukuona naitwa neutral wa what? Belfast?
Yes, you are Belfast. It's Eli.
Belfast. That's nice. Okay, na wengine wenzetu ambao wako nje huko nyuma na wengine wanasikiza from everywhere. Kwanza kabisa ningependa kuchangia kidogo kuhusu the topics. I think it's more than one topic ambayo tuna address. One of it, of course, is Ruto's tour in that region. I think Mama Selina mentioned vile watu wanachukilia lili kifo Were. I think on one level it's very confusing because we don't seem to know what is happening, and I think it's also confusing those leaders where they are. But as you stated, Mama Selina, ni wajua kama kuna dhambi ambazo zimefanyika mwanzoni, inakuwa ngumu sana kutatiza, kutatua the current one, kwa sababu yani ina trauma, ukikuwa na trauma moja na ulikuwa na nyingine nyuma, zinakuja pamoja. They all come together, and that is why we must be asked. We can't you can hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. There's something wrong with your mic. We are losing you now.
I'm okay. Wonderful. Shida ni hivi. Kama kuna vitu ambavyo vimefanyika mwanzoni na uwezi kutatua the current one, manake inatoa zile za zamani pia zinakuja pamoja. Na wacha nichanganye na Ruto's visit. Okay? Na Ruto amefika pale na kuna watu pale ambao wamekuwa na ngoja hii maendeleo, wanajua vitu vimekuwa vibaya. Okay? Na wameambiwa wangoje na waoni. Okay? Wako pale. Okay? Na tena wanafikiri huyu anawapatia uongo mwingi, ndio the one who is standing there addressing the people. So you can imagine all kinds of emotion ambazo zinakuwa pale. Okay? And what we know about study, group think, is the spirit of the moment. Inachukua, the event. Okay? So the people throwing, they could do anything. That's why security is so important. And this idea of standing every time on top of a vehicle, because it's not a planned security, plan. There's no plan, proper planning, and so the people just reacting. If you don't plan, you react. So I'm sure even that whoever did that may have been killed by those security people. Even though as some don't do anything to him, but they are reacting and the adrenaline is pumped, and so that's why Isi Mikutano, that we are doing every time, they are bad. When you think of in terms of people security, because we only think of the president's security. How about the people? Stampede and fight and all that. So I think we have to address that issue. But let me go back to Nyanza. That is the place where Mr. Were, they have lost their son, okay? And the government is not telling them anything when their first son, Mboya, was killed not far from there, the same clan around, very close there, part of the Bigoli people, part of his clan. And we talk of Odhiambo, killed. We have not been given explanation, come from the same region, same area, okay? Then we talk of some of these young people who have been killed during Mandamano, come from there. As a matter of fact, Were, when I was home, you guys, I represented you there to some of those burials. I had lunch with the man, with the other MPs at Wanga's house place, okay? I had dinner at Piccadilly, in Kindu Bay. We went to those funerals together, okay? So I didn't know him that much, okay? But that's the time that I was introduced to him by Kaluma, okay? That's when I knew him. And so to see him dead, and he helped a lot of people, no matter, what, because right now they're trying to, his name is coming in terms of other things he's done. I'm not justifying it, whatever he did in the past. But that also shows the failure of our system, our legal system, where people are not accountable for some things they have done. So the injustice is now to this man, because people talk about his past, and the people who should have taken care of that past are the what? Our legal judiciary system. They didn't do their job, okay? So now the speculation, when actually nobody knows what really happened, okay? So then the government, when you think of the government, you look at the man standing there in front of you, never been in your community for a long, long time. You can imagine the emotions, the feeling, and the thinking. And so to me, government take the blame big time, because they failed the people to bring to book those who have done these terrible things. And so they are not expecting anything different, that Ms. Were, Honorable Were, is gone. They don't believe there's going to be a clean, a clear, work done to bring to book who au jamaa au plan ambao wamefanya hivyo. So I think Ruto going to Migori, which to me, it is to appease the region. Yes, I think he's done a lot of things now in that region, but of course he's trying to win the heart of the people, the roads. And when we hear the word he, assume it is simply the taxpayers' resources going there, which now raises another problem here. Shida ingine ni hivi. For a long time, the region has been neglected, okay? So now that the people are seeing some things that is doing there in the name of even in the playing field, that also creates another emotion. So now we want to ignore some of the issues there. So when you say Ruto must go, that's a loaded word, okay? Is it going as a person, or is it going as a system that government, represent the government, they have to go, all the people that have been doing all these things from independence, okay? Or are we saying Ruto must go, that it is the government to go, or we go for another election and elect that list of people that we saw out there, who also have their own, closet full of skeleton in there. So we have a problem. Tuna shida nyingi sana, kwa sababu when you say one thing, then you look deep into the other side, you see some truth there. And the truth that we see there is, yes, you want us to say Ruto must go, but then what is it that we're representing with? Is it the same thing that will create the same problem that we have had in the region for a long time? Those are questions, okay? It doesn't mean two wrongs can make it right, but you can see what people are struggling with in their own mind. So in my mind, I think we need a lot of prayers for the nation. For me, Ruto must go. Ruto must go to me means that Kenyans must face the past. If it represents that past, we must confront it, but not to take us back to these same people that have traumatized the nation for a long time, skewed. And I think it's Junaid Mohammed who said, that for all these years, these loans have been borrowed for a long, long time, and this region has never seen that anything coming here. The roads, they don't have roads. There's nothing in there, but they are paying for those hizo madet mkopo ni ya kila mtu, lakini hizo pesa zinakuja na kufanya kwa only one region. So to me, if you can distribute it, and people are listening that way, that maybe this man is trying to distribute other things, okay? I mean, the resources to different places that have never seen it, which of course is true to an extent, but then how do you excuse, other things that this person has done? So you can see problem on every side. And so it is for some of us, Kenyans, to come together and look at what we have, the mess we have. But at the end of the day, ni lazima to go to the truth. And that's why reconciliation and truth, I think justice and reconciliation is probably going to be one way to do it. Because there's some things that we can't undo in our past, because we come to that point where either this country is going to burn, because nobody will listen, because you can't just dismiss Ruto. At the same time, you can't ignore what he has done, and you can't ignore what others have done in the past, okay? Because to the truth, the kwamba, we have mismanaged our country so much that this country is not one. There are places where they get, if you look at some of the, let's talk about Mbadi. There's something Mbadi has done very well to help us see some things that we never seen before. So I think the hand is on almost every side, and so it is for us to tell ourselves we want a country, but we have to face this past. Ili, when we say Ruto must go, we are talking of a new Kenya where we are all together in it. When we talk Ruto must go, it means that the past has to be taken care of. Hizo vitu tumefanya hizo nyuma, lazima pia we address them. And to me, it's not just a person; it's a system that need to be new. To come to Traore, okay? What Traore is doing, okay? It's a new way of looking at things, and we need that. And it cannot happen if people. It's almost like we are coming as if we are the liberators, but we can see a closet behind. There's a dagger, there is a knife, there are ammunition that you're coming to pierce other people with. And to me, let me say this. The mistake we made was Kibaki. Kibaki gave us a bad mistake. Kibaki, to me, has the big blunt of the problem. Okay, it carries the bigger load simply because Kenyans trusted him. Huyo tulimpatia kila kitu, unaona, lakini alipotoka hakututengezea nchi, watu wakirudia pale pale, manake watu walikuwa wamechoka. By the time alichukua serikali, the first Kibaki, every Kenyans wanted something new, something. People loved the nation, the economy, things were better, and they should have kept that going. But then after him, then it trenches the country back to a very tribalistic, way. And to me, that is it. To me, his government economically did very well, but those structures, hizo zilizokuwa tunasumbua wakati huu, were not addressed, and in fact, they made it worse. Okay, he made it worse because when you felt you have umeshinda, you have overcome, the past, the Nyayo era, the Kenyatta era, people disappearing and dying, and some of us were excited that we got a new nation. What happened? We are back to that tribalistic system. Economically, other places are don't receive. If you hear the report, some constituencies have more. How? Why would they get more when we need a country? Actually, if we spread the development, then all of us win. It's a win for everybody. If Northeastern is supported, is industrialized, then hata huku chini tutakuwa na nini? Kitakuwa trading partners will do better. Okay, so my Bernard, kwangu ni lazima I will not stop Ruto must go, but I mean something different with it. What I mean is we need to stop this, because if we don't stop it, another group will come do the same thing. So it will be like those wrestlers huko wanapigana Pokot. This time on a certain month, you go and do what? Una raid the other team. They come with their cows. They are very happy. Then next year, the other one plan, and they come and get it. And we can't build a country like that, where some places are favored, and then next time when we get it, we start to go the other side. And so we are just like those called tribal warfare, where we collecting cows from each side and taking to the other side. There's no difference. Okay, and so we have to be very, very careful, so that we don't do things that will make other part of the country resent us. And I think it's the resentment of certain places where there was a lot of development that is creating some of this, where we can make changes. Okay, itafanya tupate change, kwa sababu watu wanafikiria tukiwacha Ruto hatutapata tena, itarudi pale pale, unaona. So these are the old thinking that's affecting the new possibilities ambako tuko nazo as a country. So that's my contribution based on kile ambacho nimeiona hata huko Migori. The shoes represent the disgust, false promises, lack of development, lack of care, opportunists. This man is an opportunist coming to just for his own interest, want to stay in power. Okay, all those are messages and that shoes represent. But on the other hand, security, if it's not taken care of, these are things that will happen in rallies like that. And at the end of the day, let's remember, when people have not needs are not taken care of, there's frustration, and next time it's not shoes, it's something worse. Thank you.
So Lala, hey, you watu mnanipeleka mbio. Yes, mommy, in 1 minute, because Ellie is on the queue.
Yes, just I want to ask Lala one question. Lala, inaweza kuwa kwa sababu hii mpango ya rais kwenda Western Nyanza ilikuwa imepangwa na coincident ya member of parliament, na tumejua ni askari alihusika, na kama imeelekeza mpango wenye kila kitu imeelekeza mahali. Nilikuwa na kuuliza, inaweza kuwa ni watu walipanga hili wakati huyo rais anaenda Nyanza mambo iharibike? Just that.
Mama, sijui, but hata mimi, I cannot even comment because I don't know what's going on. I'm just as confused. I talked to, like yesterday, I talked to Kaluma. Kaluma couldn't give me an answer. Okay, I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Lala. Thank you, Mami. And to your question, Mama, that cannot, in politics, anything is possible. So we can't rule out anything. And right now, everybody's a suspect until we confirm who exactly pulled the trigger and killed this person. But looking at the whole scenario, there is a lot of things happening in the country. And that's why we are raising this matter of the public anger rising and the political class not being sensitive to the public. It's putting their own life in danger. The security situation, especially for the politicians, is not it's not even safe for them now to walk on the streets because you don't know who is looking for you. Unlike in the past when they were friendly, wanatembea wananunulia watu sweet, wananunulia watu mahindi. Now that is not a luxury anymore, and it is all because of them being detached and not being able to be sensitive to what Kenyans are feeling, especially on the issue of easing their life. And so anything is possible, but let's allow the investigators to bring us the final conclusion on the same. Nimlete Eli achangie tafadhali na tuangalie muda. Eli upo?
Thank you, Mr. Bernard and Mama Selina. Happy to see you there. And Mr. Lala, our pastor in residence. And of course, Pastor Bernard as well. But first, I would like to say that my sorrows to our brother Stony PK, who used to be an avid follower of the previous channel and this channel, who lost his daughter last week. It was such a tragedy. And no political boundaries can make us forget our sincere brother, Brother Stony PK. Very unfortunate what happened to him and his family last week when he lost his daughter. Very sad. I hope onto channels or platforms here and there, because I try to understand the nature of our problems and how we can solve them. And so sometimes if you don't see me here, it doesn't mean that I'm a byproduct of another channel. It's just there's sometimes sensitive issues that you want to discuss in one channel, and then you feel you cannot discuss them. Like what I would like to say here today, I cannot say in another channel. So I think that I can openly say them because sitafinywa, lakini kuna zingine pia hapa nikisema nitafinywa. So hiyo pia ni balanced opportunities. My second point is this idea that Kenyans have become very physical in nature in terms of when they're angry about something. But I think this is a universal issue, and it's not just Kenyans, it's not just people from Kuria. I mean, we remember when Uhuru Kenyatta went through the same in 2014, when he visited the same Migori, and a phalanx of bodyguards surrounded him. You remember that famous picture, and you also remember when George W. Bush visited Iraq, and he was, at a press conference in Iraq. He was a very unpopular leader internationally, George W. Bush at the time, and his foreign policy was being tested in that press conference. And one of the journalists actually pelted him, threw stone, shoes at him twice on two successive occasions, one shoe after the other. And in those countries, apparently, mtu akikutupia viatu, it's the biggest insult ever, because you're talking about something, umekanyaga zile mavi za sijui kuku, mavi za nini huko jiani, umetembea kila mahali, umeingia kwa nini pale kuna mkojo, umepitia kila kitu, alafu umemtupia mtu kiatu. Hilo ni hasira ile ya mwisho. And I think that was the message that person sent to Mr. William Ruto. But apparently, when the security people were trying to investigate this thing, most people around from the source of the shoe throwing, they also removed their shoes. So it must have been planned. I don't know. But for me, the thing that I want to say today is very important to myself, because I believe that in such a culture of freedom of speech, we should be able to say these things. I find that at the moment, the country is divided in such a way that those people who have joined Mr. Ruto in government, they're being seen as the representatives of the people from those provinces, be it Nyanza, Western, whatever you call it. And now it's a backlash. I'm asking myself, what is the difference between William Ruto, Musalia Mudavadi, Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka? These are all proteges from the Moi regime. Even though some have suffered more than others, but they're still within the same, box. So, in my way of thinking, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if someone today told you that, look, I am from Nyanza, this is the injustices that we have been facing as people from Nyanza. And now, a person who leads this country, whether he is legitimately elected or not, has decided that Nyanza should be, Nyanza should benefit from the largesse that other counties were benefiting from before. Of course, people will say that a presidential system will allow that. These are county issues. But at the moment, this person is going around and telling the people of Nyanza, these benefits that you have been, it's been difficult for you to access, I am giving them to you. And actually, it's not William Ruto who started this thing. It's Uhuru Kenyatta, because Uhuru used the military to build infrastructures around Nyanza. If you see what's happening in Homa Bay, there is a militarized zone at the lake shore, and this has been there just before Uhuru left power. So what I'm saying is that personally, I see that Ruto and all those people that I've mentioned, if I was a judge and these were being accused of doing X, Y, Z, I would send them to prison I would sentence them for 150 years to prison. Yes, but at the same time, because we don't even have a least worst, we don't know who is the best out of the crop of the worst. And then this guy comes to Nyanza and he says, look, I'm here for you. Not because he's from the colonial language at Nilot, Bantu, whatever. But that's what he has said. Me, I would support him. I really, really, really find it difficult to say this, that I would support William Ruto in 2027. But after what I have seen, that people now are ganging against Nyanza province, saying that Nyanza people are now part of Rutoism. Until now, they don't want the people of Nyanza. But we know that it's a clique of people who have decided to join Ruto's government. But the people of Nyanza, they're already saying that they have been punished enough times. The problem is the people of Nyanza, they're looking at it as we were rigged out. They're not looking as if Raila and the nation at large, ODM and the party system were rigged out. The people of Nyanza are seeing that they were rigged out. And this person, in fact, I read that statement that Ruto saying, this is your government. It's nearly as if he's saying, I stole from you, but now I invite you. Okay? You remember, Ruto was in ODM. And now there are plans for Ruto to run in 2027 under the ODM flag. Don't be shocked. This is what is being planned. And if it happens, don't be surprised. Because as Ruto himself says, Mr. Odinga was his political patriarch, you know. So I will easily support what is going on, but I am so bitter about why there is a vacuum, because of what the young people were trying to do in 2024, June 25th. And this never materialized because of course, we know what is happening now. So who am I supposed to believe? Me, I'm just talking as a 3-year-old or a nursery kid. Who am I supposed to believe? They're all the same. So you might as well give me Ruto. These people, I am not here to convince anyone. These people are all the same. But one of these people has decided that he wants to invite people in government, not the constituents of Nyanza, but the political elite. But also, he has said he wants to continue with what Uhuru Kenyatta did. The infrastructure projects that Ruto is doing now, they were started by Uhuru Kenyatta. I'm interested to know that this is not a way of installing someone for deputy president, Gladys Wanga or whatever, because that's what people are saying. People of Nyanza right now, they are excited because of Gladys Wanga. There's this thing going around at Gladys Wanga will be the next deputy president. Because, Ruto has no shame. He's already done with Mr. Gachagua. He doesn't mind kicking Kindiki and installing any other person. So these people in Nyanza, they believe that Gladys Wanga will be the next, deputy. And because the opposition is currently confused, whether we like it or not, Ruto will either rig or will exploit that confused opposition. And I am telling you, it is thoroughly confused. Because can you imagine, do you think Kalonzo Musyoka will allow any other person at this Matiang'i to come in front of him. Kalonzo. This time Kalonzo is there for the presidency. He wants to be the person to replace William Ruto. So these people who are thinking that Kalonzo will be an understudy of Matiang'i, they're wrong. Personally, I think they're wrong. I really have a heavy, heavy heart to even imagine that I am supporting William Ruto. But on the basis of all this political class are the same, I don't see why the people of Nyanza should be accused of doing the impossible by, saying that they will support William Ruto. I'm sorry if this sounds painful, but that's how I feel at the moment. I'm really, 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 it's difficult for me to say this. Nobody has paid me to say it. Me, I'm a nobody. So I can say it. I'm happy to say it. If anyone feels aggrieved, I'm really ready to debate about it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Eli. Very interesting point of view. But I can't help but feel like we are not crossing the bridge of settling scores in this country. When will we come to the place where we need and want national leadership for the sake of the country called Kenya, other than this push for our region, our people, our president? And it's like, I mean, will we ever have one Kenya where Kenyans are working towards making Kenya feed and take care of each and every Kenyan? Must we have leadership of it is our turn to eat and we must finish eating well? They ate for 10 years. We should also be led to eat 10 years. Thereafter, we can allow them to eat. Because that's what I can, feel from what I'm hearing. What is this about us that we can't let go and let the country be? Mama Serena, your hand is up. Niswali.
Yes, 1 minute for Pel first. Mkutano, nimekubalia vile umesema. We could have third force yenye very new, hakuna matawatoa, I'm sorry. Hakuna matata. Lastly, hata mkutano wa Munyoro, they were called others. The language was really home. The language was home. Oh, my husband is there, Daniel. So, Belfast, you are saying the truth. And again, why not? Kama Nyanza wamefaidika kwa sababu wanatoa taxes. Na tumeona development kwa sababu they are genuine. Wanaonyeshwa ile kazi imefanyika pale. And what is wrong, kama Mbati and those people who are there. So for me, you are saying the truth. Unless we get a third party. That party, ile kama ya Okuru Okot, that it is genuine. That nobody was in the government, not Matiang'i kill people, not what, that is what Kenyans we can sit and talk. Ya kwamba now, kufa Trevor, kufa Makanga. Now Makanga is back with his whole group. And the driver with Baba is there. They are both equal. Kufa Makanga ameamusha the rest. So for me, if we need genuine penalty, let's have a third force. Ile wa Kenya wataangalia, they are very fresh. But kama ni kutoa Ruto must go, and Gachagua can be there, oh, Kalonzo atapita katikati, he will go back to Ruto. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mama Selina. I agree with some of the aspects of what you said, and I would like to try and answer Bernard using the doctrines of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, who said that for Africa to fully experience its independence, those tribal demarcations should not apply. And that's why he managed to bring that country together. You know, I saw a map that was and I can send it to you sometime, Bernard, maybe tomorrow or whatever. I saw a map that was drawn by some Sijui anthropologist in the 1950s. And what this man did, it was some Mzungu. He decided to make a cartography, you know, a mapping of African countries. So that continent today, according to that cartography, would have had nearly 2,000 countries. Okay? And he did this by saying each so-called tribe is a country. So all those communities, all those languages, all those tribes in Africa were to be a country, a political and a geopolitical demarcation that can be recognized by the UN and so on and so forth. And they were coming close to 2,000 countries. Because if that was the case of Kenya, we would be talking about at least 45 countries. Okay? It's a very difficult situation. So that particular job, that theory and practice that man was trying to submit in the 1950s did not work because the Wazungus knew that if they continued to divide us, it was easy for them to rule us. And you remember that was in the potence of the war. Many African countries that were engaged in the political war to free themselves in the 1950s, including Kenya. If you use that example, then you see where the problem is. Some people say, no, you can't say that the reason why we are divided, the reason why we all want to be president is because we are 47 communities in Kenya. Some people say that is nonsense. And even they go ahead to say, we, the Kikuyu, we, the Kalenjin, we can be president for as long as we want because the Constitution allows us to do so. So you can actually understand their argument. Me, I am an avid supporter of Martha Karua. You know, Kipril, for example, him is a supporter of Martha Karua. I don't know why. You know, Kipril of our forums here. I never understood why Kipril supports Martha Karua. I've asked him. Personally, I support Martha Karua because she gave an example. When Kibaki rigged, you know, Kibaki too, rigged that election in 2007, Martha Karua was asked, you explain to us, you are the one who managed the constitutional sabotage ile ya kumweka Kibaki president at 7:30 8 p.m. that night. It has never happened in Kenya before. You know what she said? She said that I was Kibaki's chief agent. If I was Raila Odinga's chief agent, I would have done the same. Okay, it is not a smart thing to say, but she was very consistent. She's also the same woman who resigned from Kibaki's government. Okay, now I am trying to say that others will say they would not support someone like Martha Karua because Kikuyus have been in the presidency for a long time. They would not support, say, for example, a very good Kalenjin leader. Let's even say that boy who was doing those cartoons of Ruto, those dark ones, the one who was detained for a couple of weeks because he did the silhouette art. And he is a Kalenjin, and he decided to run for the presidency. Some Kenyans will say, hey, hello, mbona tunachagua Mkalenjin 10? So we have this issue, Bernard. It's this thing about the presidency and whether we can have other communities and we nationalize this thing. Me, I've always thought that the best way is to make the presidency a very unattractive job, so that powers are so devolved. Yani unapata prime minister na hata watu wengine, hata hao magovernors wako na powers zile hata president hawezi cheza na watu. Yani shida yetu mimi ninaona hiyo presidency iko na some powers which are over glorified, and the moment we decide to make the presidency less attractive, I think it will solve the tribal solidarity thing that we have. Because right now, most people, even in social media, Bernard, are saying that, hey, sasa tumechukua Wakisii wako na sisi, hao ni Bantu. Tumenyakua Wakisii, tumewatoa kwa opposition. Can you imagine? People are using this Bantu Nilotic thing that was created by Europeans. Back in our day, there was no such thing at you're a Bantu, you're a Nilotic. There was no such thing. Okay? Someone says, do you have a broad nose, so you look like Sijui, a person from this tribe? You have a sharp nose, you look like a Tutsi. You look like a European, like an Ethiopian. Mzungu came to tell us those things. And then we became Bantu-sized, Niloticized, Kushite, and all this. And then you hear that this is the arguments people are now doing online in Kenyan social media. People are saying, now our group, we have enough numbers. You see? So mimi, ukiniuliza, Bernard, ninaona hii shida ni kitu rahisi sana 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 kuvunja. Sana. Sana. Hata si shida. Unaona? Mbona Tanzania, hapo next door, they have 250 tribes. 250. And they don't have this problem. So, and again, I'm going to bore you by mentioning Ibrahim Traore. I hope that at some stage we'll have an African leader who thinks and lives like Ibrahim Traore. Right now, all over the world, especially, if you look at the West, the United States, there's a growing movement of Ibrahim Traoreism. People are saying enough is enough. We're going to defend Africa. Now, African countries, kila mahali, watu wanasema, we might even go to Burkina Faso to make sure we defend this man. Imagine, and by the way, Guinea, Mali, and Niger, they also have progressive leaders who took power in the same way Ibrahim Traore did. And they're developing their countries in the same way. They've nationalized those economies that were stolen by the West. The person who said that we are not independent because our reserves and our resources are not nationalized, that person was right. And that's why those Sahel countries in West Africa are managing so well na hawaogopi kitu. Pole kwa kumention hiyo kwa sababu nilikuwa naona hiyo ndio, these are the things that we really need to focus on in terms of our country. But me, I am going to think seriously about how I can positively be part of a regime that can continue to represent all Kenyans without saying ati, I am a Kushite, I am a Nilot, I'm a Bantu. And I think Mr. Ruto has started recognizing what he has been doing wrong. He's starting to change. Me, I'm into what they call restorative practice. In restorative practice, you can have evil and good, okay? But you must learn how to respect people who are beginning to realize that there have been a problem and they're ready to apologize to the nation. They're ready to reform their acts. And I think personally, restorative practice is an agenda that Kenya needs a lot. Because if we have restorative practice, ni tu kama hata nyumba yako. Ukiwa wewe unabishana na mtoto wako ama tuseme bibi ama bwana, muliwachana sawa, hiyo pia is natural, lakini kama hata mjawachana, lakini mko na ile mgomboano ile ya kawaida. Every person in that relationship, and we're not perfect, can recognize where yeye ndio ameleta shida kidogo. Akasema pole, ebu hapa nisamehe. Aki, if that day, and I was speaking about Matiang'i in the same way in another channel. Me, I cannot stand Matiang'i. I cannot. But if Matiang'i comes to the podium and says, these are the bad things I did in Uhuru's government, and these are the progressive things I did in Uhuru's government, you know, that's a different talk. Me, I'm ready to consider such a person. And that's the same energy I have for William Ruto if he tries to reimagine, you know, his behavior and how he runs the country. But like I said from the beginning, all this political cabal, including Ruto, all these people, doesn't matter if they're ODMs, Jubilee. Me, if I was a judge and I was given to sentence them for corruption, I would be sending them for 150 years, which of course is impossible because mtu hawezi ishi that long. Na watachapa kule kamiti kabisa. Lakini for now, I will entertain what Ruto is doing. I don't accept him as my president. But if he goes around the country singing a different song, not because of Raila Odinga, no, in fact, Raila is not even there, but because he believes in what he says that all communities, not just in Nyanza, need to be recognized. They need to enjoy their constitutional right. I will support him. Lakini leo nitachapwa sana. In fact, hii YouTube hii archive itakuwa mbaya sana. Asante.
Okay, thank you, Eli, for that long way of answering my question. But stay there. I'm not through with you. We'll need to debate that. I want not to keep Jakindube on hold for too long. But when we get back on the same, we would need to separate from me the tribal aspect and the national aspect. What belongs to Kenya and what belongs to region? We seem to have gotten all these things mixed together that when I am a representative of a particular constituency, that constituency becomes Kenya. Or when I'm a governor of that of a particular county, that county becomes Kenya. And we seem not to have Kenya that is owned by all Kenyans. We tend to convert Kenya to the person who becomes president. And that person, when he prefers one region or two regions, then those become the owner of that particular presidency or that particular administration. And so if we don't get to the place of separating which one is Kenya and which one is Nyanza, and which one is central. Getting all these things mixed is the source of our confusion, because the government of Kenya represents and is supposed to carry each and every Kenyan. Why do we make it to be the president's back pocket that he distributes as he wills and as he feels? And when he drops something for you, you go and bow and worship him. He has remembered us. He has brought us this. I mean, you people need to teach me, because it appears I am the one who don't understand what to be president means and what is to govern the country. But if this presidency is about distributing things so that you'll be worshipped, to be followed, to be supported, it's all an insult to the dignity of the Kenyan people in the first place. And so mnibambi na hiyo story ya kusema tumekumbukwa, tumeletewa, inaniumiza moyo. Lala, ni nini nataka Jackie Ndume akuje?
Yes, and that's the point I was trying to raise here, that Ruto is destroying institutions, okay? When you become a benevolent, whatever dictator, not even benevolent, I mean, that's how much he can reform himself to become benevolent in a very negative way, where you come to a place, alafu unapeana vitu, ni wewe umepeana, sio kwamba it is a structure that is created, institutions that are doing their job. That actually makes things worse. And secondly, you basically trying to create antagonism between two groups of people here. This is where he's caught. I think, to me, the best thing Ruto can do is to say, you know what, I messed up, I'm done, let's get this country, people together by facing the truth of what has happened. And that way, he gets out. But otherwise, what is happening now is even dividing Nyanza, because all of a sudden now, people like Orengo have a problem because his constituency is not given that support to show that where he goes, that's where the people are for development. In other words, development means you are close to the president, then you get the development. And that's what we're talking about, Bernard, which is really wrong. So yes, distributing resources to other places is great. We are happy to see that. We have never had them. But when you target certain places because of political reasons to get support from them, and then the other people are neglected, so that you tell them they're not developing their place because maybe they are not progressive enough, yet the funds are not released in those places. That is that's like a kidnapper, you know, that's holding people ransom when actually all of us are paid taxes. So to me, my brother Belfast, I have a problem with the idea that we can move towards the current government solely based on the perception that he is doing good when actually institutions are suffering, okay? When creating two, that's what I stated in the beginning, and let me end here, where it's like cut rustlers, you know, this time it's going to be the Nyanza people getting what they need, and next time there are people are resentful against them, you know, and that's that. Finally, just very quickly, actually, the map that you stated was actually a very correct map, whether it was workable, because look at Europe, where you are. It's a tribal, purely tribal. Look at the French, look at whatever, you know, everything is based on the tribe, the languages. So the tribalistic place is Europe, okay? But I think if we do what Nyerere did, okay, recognize each group and figure out the best way possible to empower each group. Tanzania, you know, they think of as Tanzanians. But if you favor one group or the other, then people begin to think in terms of tribe. And that's where the problem comes in. So in that way, I agree with you that we need to do some things different to help us. Weakening the presidential, powers can only take us far if there are other things going on, working well, constitutions are there, so people, everybody's empowered. Naturally, people get together. In Europe, that's what they have done, because economically they're empowered, then people are not afraid. But when we see things happening in Migori the way they are, it shows people are hurting. People don't understand. In other words, they are Kenyans, but there are more Kenyans who are more Kenyans than others, and that's not good. Back to you, Bernard. Ole, took so long.
Okay, thank you, Lala. That back and forth, we may not sort it in this one sitting, but I think we'll need to make progress. Eli, as I bring Jakindu Bay, I would want you to prepare to answer me this on whether Ruto wanted to go to Nyanza, and the only person who was hindering him from going to Nyanza was Gachagua. So that after getting rid of Gachagua, now Nyanza can open up and the other parts of the country can receive development. You will answer me on that one. Jakindu Bay, halo vipi?
Sana sawa sana Bernard. Nawasalimia wote, Lala, Eli, Mama. Nimewasalimia sana. Bernard, nasikitika sana na hiyo mambo ambayo ilifanyika Migori. Si jambo nzuri. Lakini hii si kwamba ni Kenya tu imefanyika hata Bush mliona vile alitupiwa viatu. Ni kwa sababu ya vitu ambavyo kiongozi anafanya. Lakini nataka kusema hivi, nimemsikia Eli akisema juu ya sisi wa Kenya. Mimi nataka kusema kwamba ili tuwe na taifa, unajua sisi wa Kenya hatujui kutofautisha taifa na nchi. Nyerere alijenga taifa kwanza, alafu nchi sasa wanajenga, wale wamekuja nyuma yake wanajenga nchi. Yeye alijenga taifa, alifanya Watanzania kujua kwamba hiyo ni nchi yao na wao ni wamoja. Sisi Kenyatta hakujenga nchi. Kenyatta hakujenga taifa, alianza na kujenga nchi. Na nchi ni sawa na vile alikuwa anafanya, ni sawa na kujenga nyumba kwenye msingi mbaya. Yaani unajenga juu ya mchanga. Unaweza kuwa umejenga nyumba nzuri sana, lakini kama msingi ni mbaya, hiyo nyumba wakati kila mara itayumbika tu, itakuwa inaenda, mara unaona imebomoka upande huu, mara imebomoka. Haya, mtu ambaye Wakenya walimpatia nafasi ya kujenga taifa kwa moyo moja kabisa alikuwa Kibaki. Na Kibaki alikuja tukaona, na mimi usikia Wakenya wanamsifu Kibaki. Mimi Kibaki ndio president hovyo kabisa kama tu Kenyatta. Kwa sababu Wakenya walimpatia nafasi awasaidie kujenga taifa. Lakini yeye alirudi tu kwa ule ukabila ile Kenyatta alikuwa naye. Ile ukabila. So alifanya hiyo nafasi tukaikosa. Wakenya tukitaka kutoa hii mambo, ni lazima sisi Wakenya, sisi wenyewe tubadilishe mawazo. Manake hata saa hii watu wanamsifu Traore, lakini ukimsikiza Traore anawaambia watu wake, anawaambia wakinofazi, na anawaambia hata Waafrika to change mind zetu, to change vile tunavyofikiria, to change, tutoke kwa minyororo ya wakoloni. Kwa sababu hata saa hii tunasema ati sisi tunajita. Sisi hawa viongozi ambao tumekuwa nao, Kenyatta, Moi, Kibaki, wote hawa Ruto, wote wanafanya vile IMF inawaambia, vile wa European wanawaambia, vile Amerika inasema ndio tunafanya. Tunafuata vile wanafanya. Saa hii watu wanamsifu Traore kwa sababu Traore amesema hapana, hii joke ya kufuata wa ukoloni sitaki, hata lugha yenu ya Fransa tumewacha, na ninyi mtoke tufanye mambo yetu sisi wenyewe. Ndio maana sisi tunashindwa kufanya mambo yetu sisi wenyewe. Nyerere alifanya mambo yake mwenyewe, alijenga taifa lake mwenyewe. Na hata ukiangalia sasa watu wanasema ati nani anasema, unajua kitu ukirudia kitu kimoja mara nyingi utaichukia, watu wataichukia. Inawezekana hata saa hii kiongozi awe ni mzuri sana kutoka wa Kikuyu, lakini watu wa Kenya hawatapenda namna hiyo. So inatakiwa kama Tanzania mbona hawachagui tu ati ni lazima kiongozi atoke sehemu fulani? Hapana. Unajua hizi ndizo vitu sisi wa Kenya hatufanyi kwa sababu sisi ni walafi. Hiyo ni kweli kabisa. Sisi ni walafi. Tunataka ubinafsi tu. Hatuangalii kwamba sisi wote hawa makabila 45 sisi wote ni wa Kenya. Ni lazima tuangalie kwamba kila mmoja wetu tumefanya ile kitu inaitwa Ubuntu, inaitwa Ubuntu. Wote ubinadamu, si wote ni same. Hauwezi kuwa kwamba wewe ninyi kabila fulani tu ndio mnataka kuongoza wenzenu. Hiyo haiwezekani kitu kama hiyo. Hiyo inaleta fujo mwishowe. Tanzania unaona wana uongozi wa kutoka sehemu tofauti bila kujali we ni kabila gani, lakini hawarudi kabila ati kabila fulani walikuwa president ndio, kwa sababu ni wengi. Hawafanyi hivyo. Hata kidini, akiwa huyo ni Muislamu, mwingine anakuwa Mkristo. Ukiangalia wamekuwa wakifanya hivyo. Ndio kusema kila mtu anasikia habaguliwi. Sasa kitu fulani ikipelekwa mahali kitu fulani ikipelekwa mahali inasemekana ni serikali, lakini sisi wa Kenya tunakubali vile Ruto anafanya, ndivyo wa Kenya hata sisi tunafanyaga hivyo. Unajua sisi za nyingine hatujiangalii vile tunafanya. Sisi wa Kenya tunakubali kumuomba mjumbe wenu. Ukiwa na Harambee ndio mjumbe wenu, mkiwa na nini ndio mjumbe ndiye anaombwa, ndiye awapatie. Amuombi serikali haina, ni mjumbe ndiye anapatiwa. Sasa hata president ndio hivyo. Tumezoea president anakuja ametuletea nini, unaona, bila kusema serikali inatuletea nini. Tunasema president ametuletea nini. So hii ni mambo ambayo sisi wenyewe ndio tunafanya. Ni lazima sisi wenyewe tuwe na mabadiliko kimawazo. Mawazo yetu bado ni yale ya kikoloni. Sisi wenyewe mawazo yetu bado ni ya koloni, kwa sababu tunajibagua. Tunakubali kujibagua vile wakoloni walikuwa wanatuonyesha namna ya kubaguana. So hii ni jambo la kusikitisha. Ni lazima sisi wenyewe tubadilike. Watu walikuwa wanasema hata mambo ya majenzi wote ni wakabila, bado wako na washafundishwa na mambo ya ukabila. Kama kweli wao walikuwa wanajihisi kwamba wao si wa kabila, wao ni wa Kenya, wako wapi? Mnionyeshe wako wapi? Hii mambo ya ukabila ambayo tunayo tuwezi kuendelea hivyo. Na mkimwangalia Traore anawafundisha watu wake kujitoa kwa mnyororo ya mzungu, kujitoa kwa mnyororo ya kusema kwamba mtu fulani atakuja kuwajengea nchi yao. Amewaambia lazima tutoke kwa hiyo fikara. Anajua kuna wengine katika nchi yao ambao bado ni wazungu, wanajiona kama ni wazungu kwa sababu wanataka tu wao ndio wawe nayo. Sasa hiyo ndio kasumba ambayo sisi tunayo wa Kenya. So, lazima sisi wenyewe tubadilike. Nilikuwa nakwambia Bernard, lazima tuokoke kimawazo, tuone sisi ni wa Kenya na ni lazima tujue taifa letu ni sisi wenyewe tunaijenga. Hatuwezi kuijenga kama tunabaguana kwamba wewe kabila fulani, wewe kabila hili. Hiyo haitatufaa. Yeah? Na tukisema kwamba unaona wa Kenya tukisema huyu kiongozi ni mbaya, tunasema mbaya kwa sababu si kabila letu, lakini kama ni kabila letu yeye bado ni mzuri tu. Watu walikuwa wanasema hapa kufa dereva, kufa tanboy. Sasa tanboy na dereva, tanboy ameenda kwa wale watu walikuwa wanasema tanboy afe. Sasa tanboy amekuwa sawa. Hii uongo ambao tunajidanganya nayo ni mtu kama amefanya kosa, ni lazima tukubali amefanya kosa. Awe ni ndugu yako, awe ni kaka yako, awe ni mjomba wako, ukubali hiyo ni makosa. Hapo tutaendelea, lakini hii ukabila ni ngumu sana. Kama Wakenya watakubali kwamba wanaongozwa na ukabila, hakuna mahali tunaenda. Mimi nawaambia ukweli. Asante sana Bernard.
Thank you Jakindu Bey. Ngoma kali kweli. Mabibi na mabwana, ningependa kuwashukuru kila mmoja kwa kumakinika kufuata kipindi. Tafadhali tuendelee kulike video na kushare, kukaribisha wengi tu ili tumakinike katika kujua haya mambo yote. Na kubaliana na Jakindu Bey, tusihalalishe maovu kama tunataka kurekebisha nchi. Kitu ambacho nimeobserve sana katika nchi hii ni ile hali ya kuchagua kitu ambacho ni duni, na tunajua ni duni, lakini tunasema hiyo ndio tumepata. Kwa mfano ile uchaguzi. Tumefanya uchaguzi, imeonekana vizuri uchaguzi uko na dosari, lakini waambia because the people decided or because we went through a rigorous process, let it go. So that justification ya yale yameenda mrama bila kuyarekebisha imefanyika sasa, imekuwa wa culture, imekuwa a way of doing things. It is so bad that squeeze hata masomo pia tumeanza kufanya nini? Kukadiria. So badala wanafunzi wasukumwe waelewe kile kitu wanapaswa wanajifunza ili wakifanye, tunawatafutia ka balancing pale. Nafanya A, I understand nowadays people can get A by 68%. My class teacher will kill you if you thought like that, that you can get an A with 68%. So I think as a people we need to have a rethink, and I'm happy what Jakindu Bey is saying. Tubadilishe mawazo yetu, haswa tukiwaza kama nchi. Na njia ya pekee ya kuokoa nchi hii vizuri ni kila mtu kuwaza kikatiba. Kila mtu afanye kazi kikatiba, kwa sababu katiba imesema governor atafanya hii, mbunge atafanya hii, women rep atafanya hii, senator atafanya hii, na hawa watu watakuwa na uhusiano hivi. So tukienda kinyume na huu mkataba wetu, because katiba ni mkataba wetu kama Wakenya, tumeenda kinyume na hiyo. So yale mambo ambayo tulikuwa tunapaswa kutarajia yafanyike yamerudishwa wapi? Kwa mfuko wa rais. Eli wewe umekuwa hapa, mfuko wa rais, kama vile Moi alikuwa anatembea akileta siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya, siasa mzuri, maisha mzuri. It is where we are back. We are back there. Now, if Migori wants to see the road, Ruto must bring it. If Kisumu wants to see a market, Ruto must bring it. If Nyeri wants to build a school dormitory, Ruto should bring it. If we want to open a borehole in Marsabit, Ruto must bring it. Are we making progress or are we going back? And when we are in support of that, it leaves me shaking because the 2010 constitution means nothing. It was for no use because it is being replaced by what? What we are doing and what it says is not in agreement. And then we are supporting the violation of that same constitution. So if we are supporting the violation of the constitution, are we being genuine about it? And all of it is in the pretext ya ukabila. Kwamba kabila fulani haitaki hii kabila fulani inachukia hii na hii haipendi hii. Can we go beyond that ukabila and do the right thing for the country, just like Traore is doing? I know Traore is he even told the people, I'm not a politician, I'm an army officer, and what I do it the military way. But the military way is working. Should we go the military way for anything to happen in this country, for this country? Because things are happening for communities, are happening for political parties, are happening for the favorites, and those forgotten, they continue being forgotten. For how long? We are 63 years since independence. When will we overcome that and just have an education system for Kenya, have a healthcare system for Kenya, have a country that doesn't need even a president to function? I die to see that kind of a scenario whereby kuna nchi ambayo Mkenya mahala popote alipo, awe nje ya nchi ama ndani ya nchi, amelindwa kisawasawa. Si kama hizi story tunasikia, sijui wa Kenya wamefungiwa sijui wapi, wengine sijui wametepeliwa wako wapi, na kuna mtu anastuka, bado tuko tu hapa. Tena hiyo idara ya serikali ndio imehadaa wa Kenya kuwachukua hela yao kwamba watawapeleka kufanya kazi, wakawaibia. Tena huyo minister ndio anakuja kwa TV anawaambia msifuate watapeli. Sasa watapeli ni kina nani?
Bernard, mpaka tutoke chini ya wazungu. Mpaka tutoke chini ya wazungu kudanganywa na hii mambo ya kusema ati demokrasi, ati sijui tunajichagua. Hizi ni vitu ambao wazungu wenyewe wanafanya. Lakini ukiwachunguza vizuri, wao wanachuja kiongozi, wanachuja. Sisi hatuchuji, tunafuata tu bila kujua hii kitu tunaambiwa tufanye ambayo wanasema ni democracy multi-party inatusaidiaje. Mimi nimewaambia hiyo kitu kwamba sisi wa Afrika tunafuata vitu bila kujua hii kitu ambayo wazungu wanatuambia inatusaidiaje. Wao wanatuambia tufuate hiyo kwa sababu wanajua kuna mtego, kwa sababu wanajua sisi tutafanya, tukishafuata hiyo tunapoteza wakati mwingi kupigania kwamba sisi kabila fulani hii bora kabila hiyo. Wakati tunapigana hivyo, wao wanafaidika kwa sababu kama kuna rasilimali, wao yule ambaye tumemchagua atakuwa anawasikiliza, atafanya vile wanataka, kwa sababu ndio wampatie nini, protection. Watamwambia sasa wewe utafanya vile tunataka, protection. Angalia hao, chunguza hawa viongozi wetu tumekuwa nao wote, chunguza wote wamekuwa wakifanya vile Uingereza, sisi tulitawala na Uingereza, vile Waingereza wanataka. Angalia kampani za Uingereza vile wanatunyonya. Angalia, ni kwa sababu tutafaidika tu siku ile tutasema hapana, Uingereza toweni hii jeshi lenu hapa, hatutaki, tutajifanyia mambo yetu sisi wenyewe. Basi hiyo ndio maana unaona Burkina Faso wanafanya nini. Hata Nyerere unaona nchi yake, kwa sababu hakuwa anasikilizana na wazungu, hakusikilizana nao, ndio maana walikuwa wanasema Tanzania haina uongozi mzuri, sijui ni dictator, sijui South Korea si wanasema, North Korea wanasema North Korea wanasema ni masikini, kwa sababu North Korea imekataa kuwasikiliza, inafuata mambo yake yenyewe. Sasa kama ninyi ni masikini, mnatoaje nuclear? Mtapata pesa wapi ya kutengeneza vitu kama nuclear? Mtapata scientist gani wa kuwatengenezea vitu kama mimi nasema siku ile tutatoka kwa yoke ya wazungu kuwasikiliza, hiyo ndio tutajikomboa, na watu wamsikilize Traore na Mali na Niger na Burkina Faso ndio itakomboa Afrika. Asante sana.
Okay, thank you, Jakindube. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We are taking a short break. When we come back, we revisit what we are talking about. I need to make an official communication, then tunarudi. Mami, nimeona mkono wako, subiri tu kidogo. Naomba as we take a short break, karibisha mtu ili tumakinike. We are headed for the home stretch na hata tujafika nusu ya masuala ya leo, lakini naomba tu tafadhali tujitahidi kukaribishana, tumngamue mambo haya, tuelewane mpaka dakika ya mwisho. Asante sana.
We also work on creating documents, feature stories, explainer videos, 3D animation, and anything media related. We also offer consultation on media related topics. Our work is timely, professional, and very affordable. So talk to us, soundcandytalk@gmail.com, or you can call us on 07 18 45 45 85. Are you looking for video live streaming services? You want your church services to be on air? You do not know where to market your goods and services? At Sound Candy Talk, we deliver the best live stream services for your events, product and service launches, conferences, weddings, and lives. Reach on us today. Tonight.
Basi yule mtoto akasema ile siku moja mimi sijaenda kanisani na Yesu Kristo anakuja.
Because kuleta ndege ya Chief of Defense Forces down is not only negligence but criminal negligence.
Nilikuja hapa hadi ya Gong nikamwambia mchague Ruto. Na mimi naomba msamaha.
Na mchezo huu rais, ni mchezo ambao utakusaidia wewe rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Ni mchezo ambao unakufundisha jinsi vile kufanya kazi.
Your Excellency, what helped that case was there was a policeman who recorded his statement in English.
Sasa huyu ndiye nilipiga kofi. Juzi ndio amenipigia simu akaniambia.
Tonight.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being part and parcel of our conversation. We are looking at the fury of the public against the political elite in our country, and the way our politics is going. Are our politicians safe? And if they are not safe, are Kenyans safe in all this? And then, of course, the cases that are prevailing. We have assassination cases, and then generally insecurity of the population out there. So as we engage on this matter, we want every one of us as the Kenyan people to be on the lookout, and then, of course, take lessons. If there is anything, we need to take lessons in ensuring that we don't repeat our mistakes and we don't end up the same place over and over again. one of the reasons why we have elections is so that we can correct whatever we did wrong in the previous one in the new one. But if we continue repeating the same and ending up in the same place, then it means we are not learning and we are not improving. We like being in a mess. That's why we keep, electing leaders and putting people in office who will keep us in slavery. Kama vile Jakindube anasema, kama tunataka kutoka kwa hiyo, kuna vitu ambavyo lazima tuachane navyo na kuna vitu ambavyo lazima tuvichukue na tuvifanye vya kwetu kwa kuhakikisha kwamba tuna leta maendeleo ambayo ni halisi, maendeleo ya kuendeleza Wakenya na Wakenya waendeleze nchi inaitwa Kenya. Sio maendeleo ya kuendeleza nchi bila kuendeleza taifa. Mama Selina, ulikuwa unasemaje?
Yes, Bernard. The only way ndio mambo ya hii rais itulie. Baba amejaribu kutuambia tuteremushe pesa iende kwa counties. If every county can have enough peanut, then rais huko juu, you will shangaa, nobody want even to be the rise of this country. Kwa sababu kila pesa yote itakuwa imetoka huko chini. So rais cannot be going everywhere and say I bring 50 million, 30 million because, for example, 15%, kama tungekuwa tumekubali kuwa na 35%, from there now, tungekuwa tumefikisha 50% kwa every county. Hakuna mtu atataka kuwa rais kwa sababu rais itakuwa ni makafanas. Na utakuwa na ruhusa kuangalia kafana yako na umwambie we need all these services. So baba ameng'ang'ana, and I wish Kenyans, kabla baba ajaretire, tungekuwa tumetoa hiyo pesa kwa huko juu na kila county. Nobody will want to be the president of Kenya kwa sababu atakuwa tu ni CEO kwa office. But tuna support rais now na members of parliament wanataka pesa ya CDF, badala ingeenda kwa education, watoto wasome free. Women rep anataka pasari, governor anataka pasari, MCA anataka pasari, MP anataka pasari. Hiyo pasari watoto ngapi wanapata FENAT? Why can this money iende kwa shule devolution iteremuke? So hii swali yote tunauliza, tumefanya nini, tutaenda wapi? There is no way. Kama rais yenye tunataka atakuja na mamulaka itakuwa kwa hiyo ofisi bado Bernard, Kenyans wataendelea kupigana. So kama tunataka ukweli, let us go back, tutoe pesa huko juu, tupeleke kwa counties, wacha watu wapigane kwa governor kwa county sao, and let them elect the best. County yangu ikianguka Bernard, you will not go to Kitale ama uende inaitwa nini ile, you cannot go to another county. Kama wao unakula pesa yako na viongozi yako, your county ita remain down. So if we want to finish these things, wacha tuteremushe pesa kwa counties. We don't care. Kila county itakuwa na pesa yake. Hiyo tu ita save Kenya. Na baba amepigana na watu waoni. Wakati Raila ataondoka na wamekuja watu wenye wawezi taka kujua county, they will finish the counties, waende kwa Supreme President, na huko ndiye tutapigania. Thank you, Bernard. Hiyo tu ndiye tukitaka kufaulu. Turutishe pesa mashinani.
Exactly. Thank you, Mami. That's a good point and an important one. Na ilo swala la basari. Saa hii kuko na mvutano katikati ya wabunge na kile baba anasema tuachane na maneno na CDF. Hiyo pesa inaenda kwa CDF iende kwa county. ili governor aendeleze maendeleo ya county na ile kazi inafanywa na CDF iwekwe chini ya counties. Saa hii wabunge sasa wameenda kwa wananchi, wanashinikiza kwamba hiyo CDF ibaki kwa sababu hiyo ndio wananchi wanaona, na wanaona kwa sababu inatumika kwa miradi ambayo ni parallel. Okay, governor anafanya hivi, mbunge anafanya hivi, saa hii sasa tena MCA anataka ya kwake naye afanye hivi, women rep ako na yake afanye hivi. We are creating confusion other than having a systematic way of developing the country, and we are so much used to that, and it's the really challenge that we get used to even doing things outside the law, and if the law doesn't agree with us, we'll change the law so that it ratifies what we are doing. I think we need some strong leadership that will put their foot down and say tunafuata sheria. Na by now this is the 15th year of 15th year of devolution. We should have reached 50%, like Mama is saying. Why are we still fighting with 15? Are we serious about devolution if we have not moved that amount even to 25%? Bado tuko 15 on the 15th year of devolution. It means we are not making progress, and we are keen in killing counties, which is very wrong. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I bring Eli to respond and of course make his submission, I want to remind us we're paying bills, and I need good money to sort out bills that are overdue. You know that we take care of Frank as well as take care of the bills. Meskia token ikilia wakati tunaendelea na show. I don't know what Wandai is doing with the tokens, lakini the consumption is very high, and we are even using limited light. Unaona studio iko na mwangaza yote. We are trying to control, but it is still taking a toll on us. So I really need everyone's support to sort out the bills. I need to the tune of 30K to be able to clear all the bills for this new month. So tafadhali, nashukuru kwa wale ambao washatuma, lakini tuko mbali sana. Naomba tafadhali tuma mchango wako, details ziko hapo kwa comments, and then of course tutashukuru. You know, it is important that we shoulder responsibility for everything. That's one way of us proving our being mature and responsible. Unajua kuna wale ambao tunapenda kupewa na hatupendi kutekeleza wajibu. Responsibility is important, especially in leadership. And so as this channel, we are given to see to it that we are here, and we are helping Kenyans make sense of their politics, educating our population, and then of course participating into humanitarian matters like supporting of Frank and the Shosho. Naomba tu tusichoke. I know the situation is not very friendly. The economy is not working the way it should, and so everyone is straining. But even when we are straining, let's not drop noble working like what we are doing. We have done very good stewardship of everything that we have made, and that's why we are still here. If we were not doing that good stewardship, tungekuwa tushafunga kitambo na tukatoroka. So nakuomba tu tafadhali tumia details ndio hizi, tuma mchango wako tukasonge mbele. You can either use the till number 516575 Sound Candy Talk, ama utumie the M-Pesa number +25471845458 Bernard is the name. So tafadhali, we can do a challenge 30K by the time we close the show in the next less than 30 minutes. Asante sana. Thank you. Bwana Hili, upo? Eli, did you move? Okay, as Eli puts himself together, let's just listen to this.
4 senior ranking police officers have been charged in connection with the killing of 6-month-old baby Samantha Pendo that occurred in the great county of Kisumu way back in 2017.
The Director of Public Prosecution approved charges ranging from murder, rape, and torture against the 4 officers.
However, 7 other police officers were excluded from the charge sheet. And as Ruth Wamboi reports, the National Police Service has informed the court that the 11th suspect, Mohammed Ba, who's a retired police officer, remains at large, with efforts to locate him at his rural home in Wajir, bearing no fruits.
In a record 30 pages charge sheet for police inspectors John Chengo Masha, Lina Kogei, Cyprian Robi, and James Rono sat patiently as the charges were read to them. The 4 officers faced charges of murder, rape, and crimes against humanity under the International Crimes Act.
The third accused person is not just a responsible citizen this country in the capacity of a police officer, but she is such senior police officer in the capacity of Chief Inspector of Police.
The positions and the roles that the accused persons held that informed the arraignment. It is not in doubt that the accused persons are police officers. And I want to invite the court to consider that position vis-a-vis civilians, victims. We cannot ignore.
The court was informed that under their command, their subordinates stormed civilians' home, allegedly tortured and raped over 20 women.
Court enters plea of not guilty to all the charges in the amended information as read to all the accused persons in English, and they pleaded to each of the counts not guilty.
The victims' lawyers who opposed their release also poked holes on why the charge sheet contained only 4 accused persons, yet the court on January 30th directed all 11 accused persons to take plea.
The victims in this case went through horrendous experiences, as described the particulars of the offenses. And it will be fair to all parties that an express term restricting any contact whatsoever.
But in a quick rejoinder, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution stated that it has reviewed the case in light of new findings, and the DPP has exercised its prosecutorial powers.
The position of the IO is that he is seeking for 7 working days to be able to conduct victim assessment.
The DPP should not be directed to institute criminal charges.
The National Commission on Human Rights, equally, we intend to call them as witnesses. They will be very useful witnesses for the state. The IPOA, we shall be calling them as witnesses. They are investigators in this case.
Since the case began in 2022, 10 suspects have been arraigned in court, with 4 of them now formally charged. The 11th accused person, Mohammed Ba, retired police officer, has never been arrested, with NPS stating efforts to locate him at his rural home in Wajir County has so far been unsuccessful.
So between now and the 7 days, I will release you on same terms and on those 5 conditions.
Justice Margaret Mwigai has directed the officers to adhere to the guidelines of personal recognizance with the case set for mention in a week's time.
Tunaona kama tunaweza pata haki ya mtoto wangu. Nimetafuta haki ya mwanangu kutoka mwanzo mpaka sasa, lakini naona kama Mungu anaelekea, anafungua njia. Juu kuchukua tu hiyo plea peke yake ilikuwa ni shida, lakini venye sasa imepatikana, najua tutapata.
Even as the 4 senior police officers have taken a plea of not guilty, the Law Society of Kenya and the victims' lawyers have questioned the rationale that was used by the DPP in excluding the 7 other police officers. Ruth Wamboi reporting from Milimani, Lokot.
Mama, ulikuwa unasemaje?
Niko nimesema kwani Eli yako na poma mbili amekimbia poma ingine kwanza. Nafta kwa mama mdogo kuna chomeka.
Hakuna kitu kama hiyo.
Sengenya.
Hakuna kitu kama hiyo.
Pole Eli, nilikuwa na kuchokosa pole.
Nimeheshimu sana ile nini tumekuwa nayo leo kwa sababu naona tuko na open discussion na hii kitu ya nini hii confusion tuko nayo saizi kwa nchi, ati hatujui kama Ruto ndiye atarudi kama rais, alafu kitu chochote ambacho kichafanyika. Wao wengine wamesema ati there is no way Ruto can get back into power, but we know that that's what's going to happen because we have a history of rigging and the IEBC, hakuna kitu inafanyika hapo. So who is in power now is controlling the IEBC. Kila kitu kimekuwa captured. Sasa mi naona sasa vile tuone vile ile kesi ya Ruto anatuletea na kesi ya hao wengine, kama tunaweza kubalance sisi wenyewe, tuone kama tunaweza kukubali ati huyu ndio mtu wetu ama yule ndio mtu wetu. Hiyo tu.
Wacha niulize Eli swali moja. Eli, kati ya hii group na Ruto na kati ya Azimio Baba na ile group yote, na Ruto alikuwa nakimbia peke yake na akamanage, na hii group ya sahi, even apart from Matiang'i, hata Matiang'i ni nini kweli? Yani like kama hakuna watu wenye tofauti, he will walk over, hata hakuna kuuliza, because Kalonzo Martha Karua ati wa Munyoro sijui wa Reore nini, hakuna. Kama hakuna serious candidate, sorry.
And also the candidates that are available, what normally happens is that the so-called incumbent, huyo ataingia hapo kwa kila chama, he will infiltrate all those political parties, and it's an easy thing to do in our Kenya, and it makes it so difficult for the opposition, which is always divided. This is one of the reasons why, apart from rigging, these guys know how to divide the opposition. People are saying that maybe we might be lucky this time, because this time is like 2002. That's what is making people, including myself, that maybe this might help us. But this might help us if we have a candidate. Yani yule hata ukienda kwa village kabisa, kule yani umeingia kule ndani kabisa, where people have never even heard of Kenyan politics as such. Watu wanakuambia ati, are you going to Kenya? Because they live in the most remote areas. But those people, they will respect that particular candidate that is different from the people that we see now. I can't see that person right now. But if the youth mobilized and they have a strong political leader, I think this is possible, because majority of the population of the voting population is young. But that can actually rescue the country. But we have a situation where the status quo are in both the opposition and the government, and also they keep changing their tunes, and some of them are actually already part of Ruto's system. They pretend to be in the opposition. This is a very difficult situation, you know, and Ruto and his side will be waiting to unleash anything and everything they know of these political leaders on the other side, because they're the ones who have the instruments of power. Aki, if you asked me, is there a chance that a political leader can come from a serious military background? Yani, you get someone like Traore, a young person, says enough is enough. Kenyans are fed up. Let's take this thing and make sure the country reforms. We don't even have that. Hiyo hatuna, yani, there's no way Kenya can get a person like Traore. So that one we forget about it. Because as we said, kila mahali kimekuwa captured. There is no hope at the moment from the class that I see or we see. If we see people who are coming now telling us that the international system has shortchanged Kenya, that our constitution needs reforms, that the education system is poor, we need a county system that is ethical. This sort of person, who is he or she? This is a problem. It's a nightmare. If that person is there, I think that Ruto has no chance. Ruto, when I say Ruto, I mean, in fact, there's a question someone asked earlier. I think it was Bernard, trying to say Ruto as the system or Ruto as a person. So if we had that alternative position where, yani, kuna kitu Ruto akienda kwa podium, we subject him to every single tyranny that he has messed up the country with, every single story we know about corruption, everything that we can say as the opposition can make people right into the villages understand that Ruto cannot be in charge anymore. But we still don't have that in our guts to express this view and say that we have to uncapture the things that have been captured. We still don't have that. Okay? If, for example, Mr. Francis Atwoli was removed from power in between now and 2027, that would be one of the most incredible achievements that Kenyans have done. Okay? We know that Mr. Atwoli is resigning, is retiring next year, but we also know that the people who will be taking over from Atwoli, most of them, they are worse than him. The trade union movement is something that I hope that can actually be one of those mobilizing factors in Kenyans' history of change and how we want to change the country. Lakini sasa kama trade union yenyewe ndio iko na shida. So the Kenya that we had in the 1990s and up to 2002, around there, where NGOs were so powerful, yani trade unions were competing with NGOs and churches to see who is who in terms of changing the country. Those are the moments that we need to get back into. But it seems that people, in fact, when you look at literature, if you look at the writings on the media, the opinion polls that are being, which are being tabulated by different interest groups. You just feel that all this intelligentsia of different parts of the Kenyan society, they don't have a clue. They don't want to say the things that they should say. And I think that this part of the intellectual bit of the society, and when I say intellectual, I don't mean ati watu ambao wameenda Alliance, Mangu, sijui wapi. I mean the people who hold the key of research, the media, opinion, things that matter in terms of our economy. Those people are failing us as well because hao pia walikuwa captured. So ndio maana nasema kama tungekuwa na hizo hapo tu openly, mimi naona tuko na njia tunaweza kushuhudia kile tunaita freedom na independence that Kenyans want at the moment. It's a very, very powerful thing that can happen. We can get Kenya back to the 90s where the opposition said things that are solid, and then in 2002 they changed the game. Hizi zingine ati sijui tunaenda kwa Wamunyoro, sijui tunaenda kwa Matiang'i, kule Sugoi tunaenda
What happened with Maraka? Nani ali exchange Maraka? Maraka could be better.
But then again, what do you know about Maraga? Honestly, Maraga is not a type of person who even wants to meddle into politics of Kenya. I don't think so. People,
as a CEO, I think Maraga could be better.
But you think that those people in the opposition and in Ruto's side will give him a chance?
No, the youth, so. I know Maraga could stand with the youth. And then now, the way we have Kibaki and what do we call this man? Kibaki and Matiba. Why can't we have Maraka and Matiang'i? Because...
Hey, so, hapo unataka Wakisii wawili. Unajua sisi ni watu wa ukabila hii Kenya yetu. So unataka Wakisii wawili.
No, I'm saying, I'm really saying, ukweli ni kwamba when the name of Maraka was mentioned, I know opposition will not like Maraka kwa ile principle na watu wengi wanaweza kumupenda. Na kwa sababu bado tuko na 2 years. Na Maraka amenyamaza. So kama kuna third party ama baba wakiona ama Ruto na baba waone mambo imeumana, waone most likely who is the person. And they say, well, Maraka, come get this thing. What do you think?
I really think that is something for Kenyans in Kenya, like Bernard, to describe that situation better, because personally, I wouldn't have a clue. The much I know about Maraga is so basic.
So you want with this issue now, you want to give us between the two candidates. They say charity begins at home. If you are to give us now, we are voting me, Penat, and you. We are 3 here. Now, tuko na Maraka na tuko na Matiang'i. Na tunakutaka wewe unitongose na utongose Penat. Between the two, who could you vote? Who could you tell us?
Okay. Now I understand your question. I think then I would go for Justice Maraga. Maraga, yes.
I can go for Maraka. Penat?
Of course,
but you can see that Penat is not comfortable with that question.
No. Look at you, Elliot. Stop judging me. The Maraka candidature, in fact, it's on. Well, let's not brush it off. It's on. He has expressed interest, and he says he can serve. He has led one arm of the government. He doesn't see any problem leading the other, and he's banking on the Gen Z support. In fact, there was an issue with the Kisii elders trying to prevail over him not to go ahead with that ambition because in favor of Matiang'i. It's like the majority of the Kisii elderly leadership is for Matiang'i and not Maraga. But the Maraga Omtata ticket is there hanging somewhere. And probably people are saying that it could be Baba's secret wherever card that he's playing. Najua Baba anakuanga na story ya surprises. So there is that consideration. But for me, I will be the really ticket that I believe would tilt the scale in the country if Kenyans were thinking rightly and want the best for the country, would have a ticket like Maraga Sifuna. Sifuna being youthful, Maraga being elderly, and then of course all of them being law-abiding and insistence on the rule of law, will recover the country faster, other than getting this coalition of people with vested interests who want to protect each other. Because if Matiang'i becomes president, he has to protect Gachagua, and he has to protect the Uhurus, the Kenyattas. He has to protect this and this. So there is a package that is coming with already. But if we have people who are free and will establish proper rule of law in the country, our recovery program will be faster and will get the country running. But will Kenyans buy into that with their tribal mentality? It is also a huge challenge, but we can't rule that out as well, because where we are, things are very delicate and anything can happen. Anything can happen, like Wamunyoro has the mountain, he can lose it the following day. And it looks like Kalonzo is not this, he can become something the other day. So in my opinion, we really need serious new blood at State House, not these recycled people, okay? The recycled people. So getting the Maraga ticket, to me, it will work wonders. Omtata too. I really want the country to be governed so that watu wakue huru. Lakini kirudi ile old KANU that we are having right now, we are trying to rebuild right now, we'll need another 50 years to get out of where we are digging ourselves in.
Between Sufuna with ODM, Maraga is okay, but Wamutata from where? Because now you are also giving us two things. For me, if you talk of Sufuna, I know Baba can talk to ODM and Sufuna can, he has ametuonyesha. Maraga has done his own, but Sufuna also, being a young man, as you said, na kona principle. But huyu naye, ukikuchia sasa sisi na 2 lawyers, the way we are going to 2 cases, then Wamutata na Sufuna, I think you could have given one person. Kwa sababu
No. I'm only saying, I'm saying what people are saying online, okay? Kuna wale wanasema wanataka Maraga Omtata ticket. Then mi nikasema Omtata is not very different in age bracket na Maraga in terms of their age group. But Sifuna is a bit younger, so he will appeal more to the Gen Z and to the youth and all that. They will feel more at home with Sifuna there than when we give them 2 elders. But kama maswala ya Maraga hana chama, ukumbuke Ongeri alihama sijui kutoka wapi akaingia ODM na akachaguliwa kama senator wa Kisii. So Baba ndio dawa ya hii maneno. Tunaweza kufanya Maraga kwa ODM by tomorrow morning. Hiyo haiwezi kuwa shida.
I think tukitaka ukweli Penat, ni kwamba people should talk about Maraga and then they will look at a running mate, a very better running mate. So again, walitupa wapi Morara ama walikuwa naita nani Kipishu? That one has gone. Amemeswa.
No, kuna shida na Gen Z. Kuna shida na Gen Z wanafightiana among themselves. So Morara akona chama yake, hiyo chama inasemekana ni personal property. So a lot of things are happening huko na the Gen Z movement. But what I see is the politics are too early to call, in my opinion. Hizi games zote zinafanywa saa hizi zitasambaratika. We mama, unakumbuka tu 2013, 2012 kulikuwa na G7, wale walikuwa wanatembea pamoja wakiomba pamoja kwamba wataenda kusimama pamoja. Siku ya kura walikuwa ilifanyikaje? Kalonzo alienda kwake, Mudavadi akaenda kivyake, Eugene akaenda na Uhuru na hiyo mambo yote.
Nigeria.
Yes, so hii wanakutana, sioni ikishika mpaka mwisho.
No, for real, hii ya Munyoro, Penat, hii group ya Munyoro, count out, hakuna kitu hapo. One for real, they will not allow Martha Karua to run for anything. They will not give her a chance. Kama wangemwachia kama mama, then wa Munyoro angeanzisha chama. Wangesema now this is the party. Again, wanaenda lete Matiang'i asimame na Jubilee. Do you think all people from Central watawacha chama yao waende wa Jubilee ya Matiang'i wakifikiria vile Ruto walimufanya? So that ticket is not there. Kalonzo, again, Kalonzo alifikiria ataendosiwa na hiyo watu yote ya opposition. Kalonzo hakuna mtu ana name. Kalonzo is just sitting there. That is why hata ajui vitu ya kusema. So hiyo ticket kwanza tusahau. Ndio unaona Ruto ameanza kucheka. Wakati Ruto alimanage kutoa baba kwa hiyo maneno. Alafu ya pili, hata hii story ya opposition kwenda street, mambo ya kelele, unaona imetulia. Ruto anafanya kazi. For real, awe na uongo ama asiwe na uongo, hakuna watu wana nini sana. Ndiye sababu unaona hata hiyo kiatu atataka hata kusema, sababu hiyo ni calculation. Wamefikiria somebody was calculating mambo ya huyu MB ndiye asifaulu pale Nyanza. Then now the throwing of a stone. Na amekataa kuongea hiyo. So unajua wakati umeassume hiyo imekufa kifyake. Then ile mambo Gladys Wanga walitaka, serikali imekimbia watasacrifice. Kama wamekuwa wakificha singine sote, na hii ni kama
Sorry, mommy. You are mute. We can't hear you.
Oh, yes. I'm saying, Bernard, for the sake ya hiyo unity, mambo ilifanyika, hiyo kiatu ilitupwa Migori. Unaona hakuna mtu ameongea, ni kama mtoto alijaribu kucheza mpira, kwa sababu wanajua maybe it was a target. Walitaka kuona reaction. Walitaka kuona kama atachapa watu. Unaona waliassume na kasi ikaendelea. Kuna mambo ya MP, huyo Pati Mbaya ameenda. Pia serikali imekimbia speed kulingana na matakwa yale Gladys Wanga alisema. We need to know the truth. Sasa watu wameshikwa, ukweli itasemwa. Sasa hiyo pia kama ilikuwa ni mpango, kwa sababu inaonekana kwa Nyanza kuna ile watu ya chama ya Ruto, UDA. They want to be proud, like sasa sisi tunataka kutambulika kwa sababu Ruto amekuja. Naye ODM inasema no. Hapa kwetu ni ODM zone. So wale watu walikuwa na Ruto, they are still surviving. Hawajapatiwa chance. So ukiona hiyo mambo Penat, na tukifanya siasa sasa, the rest of the country are quiet. Wananchi Western wamenyamaza, Nyanza wamenyamaza, Coast wamenyamaza, Northeastern yote wamenyamaza, Rift Valley imenyamaza. Kelele inatokea tu upande moja. Nairobi ndio hiyo wanatuambia siri. How could you say ati kwa Munyoro ati sasa tuende tuchukue Nairobi kwa sababu tumepata Wakisii? How could you be proud? Hapo Muluya nani alikuwa pale? Huyu nani Balala? Huyu Wamalwa? Huyu Natembea? No. So hii watu they are proud of nothing. Unajua Penat, hiyo mkutano 90% ilikuwa inaongewa mlima. Tumetengwa, tumelete marafiki. So ukiona inchi, for real now we are talking serious politics. Kenya imetulia. Walipiga kelele Northeastern kitambulisho lalala, wakanyamaza. Masaini imenyamaza, everywhere imenyamaza. Nyanza ndio hiyo imenyamaza. Mahali kelele ni wapi? Kwa Wamunyoro. Wa Kenya na hii historia tulisikia mastiko kwa wakati ya Ruto, kwa Moi na mastiko wakati ya Ruto imeenea kwa watu wengi wa Kenya ya kwamba mastiko is because it is you Bernard or somebody else tomorrow. So hii mambo kama hatutakuwa na candidate, na baba aliuliza swali kama Ruto mastiko, so what? Ndiye nani akuje? Ndiye wa Munyoro? Ndiye hiyo group ya Kalonzo? So Bernard akiendelea kuenda kwa juu, kuruka, kufanya, na unajua sasa ako na akili, ameanza kufanya kazi. Uniambie what they will do? Nothing. Ukweli. So watu wachipange na kuenda kuonyesha Martha Karua na kama wangesema mama, unajua at least watu wanaesaona mumama, lakini pia Martha Karua alikuwa na baba, akatuma baba akaenda kwa Munyoro. Kalonzo wakaenda kwa Munyoro, na tulisema driver na conductor. Now they are telling us Kachakwa ni mzuri. Na ile mambo Kachakwa anaongea tangu asubuhi na jioni. Kama Ruto ni muongo, Kachakwa ni nini? Yale yote anatuambia, mbona hakusema the first year? Na kama Ruto alikuwa muongo, kwa nini alikubali kufanya kazi chini ya muongo? So the two people, wakati Yesu alisulufishwa, tulikuwa na tu walikuwa naitwa nini? Wesi wawili. Mmoja akasema ukipanikiwa ukienda Baratiso nikumbuke. Mmoja akamwambia wewe unajifanya mtoto ya Mungu, ujisave. Sasa hiyo mambo watu wanaona. Kachakwa is not quiet, is so proud. Na Ruto amenyamaza, watu wamemwambia muache aseme yote ila ako nayo. Atachimaliza yeye mwenyewe. A principal person. Wesi niite watu wakuje wanisaidie kuua Penat. Kama uko na makosa na Penat, pikana na Penat peke yako. Ukimwangusha Penat, tutakupigia makofi. Lakini unaita watu unamwambia kucheni. Si agenda. Agenda ni kutoa Ruto kwa sababu alikutoa. Haya, ndio huyu Matiang'i anakuja. Badala na yeye await. Hata angeruti Kisii pale Penat, akuwe na chama yake, ila hata ya Nyachai, aonekana amekuja na chama, anegotiate na hii watu wangemsikiza. Lakini Uhuru anaenda kumulete. Uhuru wamerokota, kumbe wamenyang'anya mashamba ya watu. Naona mambo ya Narok inalupuka, watu wamechukua Penat. Kenya mambo iko. We are not supporting. Mi si support Ruto, but ukweli ni kwamba if not Ruto, who? Si tuna support baba. Na baba amenyamaza. Anawacha vijana wapimane, enda Nyanza, tengeneza nchi.
Sawa mami, wacha tu nini. Naomba tuanze kutamatisha, masaa ndio hayo. It's 27 minutes to 4 a.m. Nakana leo ni leo. Lakini hiyo maswali ni nakubaliana na wewe, saa hii ni mapema sana. And then kuna principle ya siasa ambayo ni kwanza baba ndo anajua kuitumia sana. In politics you must never be seen coming. You should always be seen arriving. So hii inachorwa na kina Kalonzo na Wamnyoro na wote ambao wanakutana, inaonekana wazi. Si wewe unajua msemo inasema ukitaka kufunga ng'ombe kamba uionyeshi kamba kwanza. So hii inaonyesha kamba mapema, si unajua inaonekana haiendi mahali. So without necessarily writing off people, I think we deserve better as Kenyans and we should insist for the very best. Ruto afanye yake, Wamnyoro aseme ya kwake, kuna Muturi aseme ya kwake, wote waseme yote. Lakini mwisho wa siku tunataka Kenya bora kwa kila Mkenya, na hiyo Kenya bora itatokana na uongozi bora. Na huo uongozi bora tuko nao katika nchi hii, kwa sababu tumezaa, tumelea, tumesomesha. Kuna watu wengi tu kwa nchi ambao wanaweza kuwa viongozi. Sio lazima tutumie hawa ambao wanajulikana, hawa ambao tunawaona. And I believe we can also have a surprise candidate. Surprise candidate yule atajitokeza, inaweza kuwa dakika ya mwisho na bebe vitu, sababu katika siasa na historia imeonyesha kuna ile mtu anajitokeza tu alafu anabeba anabeba inji mzima, kama Wajakoya. Sisi Wajakoya tu kumtarajia, alijitokeza na kujitokeza hiyo akapata kura zake hapo kiasi tu nzuri. Kwanza alishinda Mudavadi. So ni wakati ambapo nataka tuache kila kitu kikiwa open and then let Kenyans sober up and be prepared. And then unasema elections 2027. Kuna revelation nyingine ambayo nani Willis ameeleza kwamba kulingana na katiba elections hiyo baada ya miaka 5 ni katika mwaka wa 5, na hiyo pia iko kotini sahi. So koti ikiamua kwamba ni election ni Tuesday ya pili kwa mwaka wa 5, inamaanisha election itakuwa 2026, hiyo 2027, August 2026. So na inaonekana wanasiasa wameona hiyo, ndio wako mbioni kusukuma hivi mambo. That also will explain why Ruto cannot stay in the office now. He has to keep moving and redeem time, for he knows time is running out. But at the end, let us pray for a better Kenya, work for a better Kenya, and get leaders who are indeed leaders. To see settle kwa wale wako politically correct. They can be politically correct but wrong for the country. The country is in a very critical place. Hao vijana wamefika 70%. Kama vijana wako 70% na hawana kazi, hiyo ni time bomb, na kama hakuna mikakati mizuri ambayo itawasimulate iwaweke katika productive engagement, we will just lose the country no matter who is in power. So we really need an urgent, a serious team of leaders ambao wata-address haya maneno na wasaidie nchi, sio watumie nchi kujinufaisha kisiasa.
But Bernard, why can Ruto now, kwa sababu anafanya kazi na baba ni baba ya devolution, why can Ruto release the 35 iende kwa counties to make his name, na at least unajua pesa ikiteremuka kutoka huko juu, if I was Ruto and I wish watu wangemuongelesha, ni kwamba ateremushe pesa iende counties, Bernard, because he's the president now na ameshikana na baba. The best thing, and I'm seeing something coming. Ukiona baba ameongea mambo ya CDF na anasema pesa iende kwa counties, I wish Ruto ile kitu anaweza fanya kwa Wakenya. At least watu wanataka kusema constitution turekebishe, Ruto aseme well 45 iende kwa counties, tuende kwa referendum na baba afanye campaign. Bernard, I'm telling you, hii group yote wanalia, hakuna mtu atataka kuwa rais. Ruto ataenda for another 5 years, amalisane, atuwache kama pesa yetu simekuja counties. Kitambo aende ya mwisho, aweke 65. Mwenye anataka kuja president 2032, anakuja tu na kalamu. Na sisi kwa counties yetu, Bernard, tuchunge pesa yetu, tuone who is our governor. Unajua sasa na Makoli ama Nandi, Nandi watakaa chini kutaka kutafuta mtu mzuri atakuwa governor, kwa sababu utaenda Washingishu kuliwalilia. So I think the best thing baba anaweza fanya na Ruto sahi na baba ni ateremushe hiyo pesa chini.
That's a good one, and we wish that happens. But nafikiria Ruto anaogopa wabunge. Anaogopa wabunge kwa sababu wabunge ndio wanataka CDF. Baba amewaambia waachane na CDF, wafanye kazi yao. Hawataki kuachana na hiyo CDF kwa sababu hapo pia wanakulia. Na Ruto anaona akiwanyang'anya CDF wanaweza kumfanyia impeachment. So ndio anacheza na hiyo game kiakili. Anawaomba sijui wamwachie yeye sasa asimamie maneno ya barabara na nini. Ruto alikuwa ameamua hata awaongeze pesa ingine ya barabara. But the really way for proper channel ya development kufanyika vizuri ni vile unasema counties iongezewe pesa na county isimamie development yote, isigawe. So pesa kidogo ati imeenda kwa mbunge, pesa ingine sijui imeenda kwa women rep, pesa ingine imeenda kwa president sijui anafanya bursary. Hizo vitu zote zikuwe collapsed. Pesa yote iende kwa county na county isimamie development yote, maendeleo yote ya county. Kama county inahitaji shule, county ijenge. Kama county inahitaji soko, county ijenge. Kama county inahitaji hospitali, county ijenge. So that tunajua governor kazi yake ni development ya county. Na hiyo development is informed by the people. That's how the constitution is supposed to work. Lakini sasa hizi interference na this overlap ndio zina create confusion, and that confusion is meant to enhance corruption. Ili contractor wa kujenga Vihiga market anatolewa wapi? Anatolewa Nairobi. sababu ya devolution ilikuwa pesa vile imepelekwa Vihiga, vijana wa hapo wapi Vihiga wapewe hizo contract ili pesa hii isambae kwa hiyo county na county hii ikue to help that economy. Lakini sasa tunafanya ile exodus, tunachukua sasa contract ya nini, tunapatia contractor, anatoka Mombasa, anaenda kujenga barabara wapi? Marsabit. Okay, akilipwa pesa anarudi nazo wapi? Mombasa. So pesa zile zilikuwa zitumike ku enhance the economy ya Marsabit, zimerudi wapi? Zimetoka nje. So it's a crazy world, but I believe that we can find a way around it. Na that's why tunahitaji kiongozi ambaye anajua sheria na anasimamia sheria, sie kiongozi ambaye anaegemea sana siasa. Na kama kuna shida na William Ruto ni kuegemea sana siasa bila kupeana uongozi na pia kusimamia maneno. Anaegemea siasa na anategemea siasa, tofauti na Kibaki. Kibaki hakuwa anajua siasa.
Maraka is the candidate.
And kulikuwa na rumor kwamba yeye ni secret candidate wa Ruto, so sijui atakuwa wa nani, lakini naomba mami tumalize saa 10 na nipata hapa.
Asante Bernard. Good night.
Yes. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are calling it a day. Thank you so much for being part of the conversation. Please keep it at Sound Candy Talk, even when we have signed out. Keep sharing the video so that people can catch up with what we discussed. And we are preparing to come back later in the day with more programs. So be a subscriber and follow us. Those of you following us on TikTok, asanteni sana. Naomba tafadhali likes mob tunapomalizia, and then of course share the video with more people. Let more people understand what Kenyans are saying, why Kenyans are saying, and then of course why we need better leadership in our country. David Macheneri anasema they say 3 people have been arrested huko Kahanja kwani Ruto alichapwa na viatu vitatu. No, there was nini. Let me just correct that. Kulikuwa na hii video ambayo imekuja baadaye inaonyesha vile kiatu kilifly. Hii video inaonyesha nilikuwa nimeitengeneza mchana. Inaonyesha kwamba kiatu hakikutupwa. Watu walikuwa wanachukua speech ya Ruto na simu. Alafu huyu jamaa naye akawa amebeba kiatu ameinua. Sasa sijui kama alikuwa akili punguani ama nini. Yeye na yeye ameshika kiatu juu. So kiatu ilikuwa ina obstruct watu kuona wale wako nyuma yake. So mmoja wale mtu wako nyuma yake akasukuma hiyo kiatu itoke kwa mkono, ndio huyu awache ku obstruct. And then wakati alisukuma hii kiatu ikafly ikaenda huko. So haikutupwa. Let me just play the video ndio tuangalie.
And ukiplay the video Bernard, sijakusahau mimi niko na mchukua naenda Barcelona ya 7 years kucheza poli.
Wow, congratulations. Hiyo ni kali. But
7 years kuna team ya Nakuru Parks wanaenda Barcelona December and they need a lot of money. So but niko na wewe.
No problem. Thank you.
Nitakutumia to support hiyo vijana young boy. I don't know even alitoka hapi anacheza mpira na sisi ni ya kukimbia.
No, siku hizi tuko wengi tu na tumeingiana, so na baraka za Mungu zinasemekana, vipawa za Mungu zinapeanwa na Mungu ajuti. So God can bless in different ways.
Yeah.
The video is less than a minute. Let's just look at it closely. Uone vile kiatu kilitembea.
Maendeleo. Tunakubaliana jameni? Kwa sababu niko na viongozi wengi. Mimi nataka niwahakikishie. Sawa sawa? Sikizeni watu wa Kuria. Nyinyi ni wakulima wa maana sana sehemu hii. Tulisema kwanza tupunguze gharama Ngojea.
Nani mjinga huyu?
Tulisema tupunguze gharama ya mbolea. Kweli au si kweli? Tulisema tupunguze gharama ya mbolea. Hiyo ngojea. Wachana nao wananchi.
Hata kutuba ilipikwa hivi.
Mtu alifanya hivi kiatu itoke ili wachukue picha. So na kiatu naye ikaenda mbele.
Na hiyo mtu wako kwa mbali na rais?
Hapana, walikuwa tu karibu. That's why kiatu haiku travel.
Yeah, walikuwa karibu.
So then of course ndio wataalamu wanasema Ruto aangalii security yake vizuri, kwa sababu unaingia hivyo katikati ya watu then mtu anaweza kufanya chochote, but anakuwa excited na hizo crowds mpaka anasahau masuala ya security. But tunashukuru kwamba wanasema 3 people have been arrested. I don't know anything is possible, but tuliona sana ni kama watu wawili walikuwa wameshika kiatu, sasa sijui. And then huyu akafanya
kama ni kurusha pena, tungeona kiatu ikienda kama vile walirushia Uhuru. This one is different. Ni mtu alipiga kwa mkono ama alisukuma kwa mkono ya mtu. But again, unaona wananchi wenyewe walireact, walisikia mbaya. They feel like, why is he doing like that? Na vile umesema, maybe, so at least that one, ndio unaona hata yeye ameambia watu wachaneni na wananchi wachana na yeye. And again, ana panic kwa sababu kuna hiyo shida kubwa ya mauaji. Hangetaka kitu ingine pia. Unajua saa ile uko na moto, unajua this man anajua na anajaribu, ni kama yani umeenda kwa father in law, umenyimwa kurudisha pipi, na hata ukichapwa utatoroka, utanyamaza tu, bora wakupatie pipi uende naye.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's call it a night. Thank you so much. Tukutana tutakapokutana. Keep it on Sound Candy Talk. Tuendelee mbele.
Watu wa Mungu, Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Kipindi cha mahubiri kimerudi tena kwa kishindo kwenye Sound Candy Talk. Tunakufundisha, kukuelimisha na kukutia moyo kwenye Daily Bite. Mafundisho kamili ya Biblia kila siku kwenye runinga uipenda ya Sound Candy Talk. Sound Candy Talk Live News.